Carter's 32 home runs are fourth in baseball, and since July 1st, he's hit 19. He's carried the Astros this month to a 12-12 record with 11 homers. I'm Mike Eli from the Eli Young Band. Will the Astros need his late game heroics again? Stay tuned. The Astros and American League West rival Oakland Athletics are coming up next.
Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, CSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's the finale and the deciding game of this three-game series between the Astros and the Oakland A's. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby on National Awareness Day for Alzheimer's disease, and that's why we're wearing the purple tonight. The Astros really created some awareness of their offensive come-from-behind abilities with the Chris Carter homer in the eighth inning to beat Oakland last night, Ash.
Nice to see, and also nice to see you, Brownie, and glad you're feeling well. It was very nice to see the offense come alive late last night. Didn't look like it was going to happen, but Chris Carter has been the man.
Well, Chris Carter has been a rare guy in terms of the ability to hit that ball a long way, despite not hitting for a high batting average, but he's had some punishing hits.
This is first of two grand slams on the year. That first one, he has gone opposite field. He has pulled the ball. He has been amazing as he's compiled now 32 home runs on the year, 8 in the month of July, and the month of August, seeing Chris Carter slam 11, including last night's tremendous bomb to left field as it provided the win over the Oakland A's for the club.
He hit very well, Ash, in the month of August. For the season, 227, but that was 181 when July came in.
Yeah, he was not swinging the bat well at all. In fact, not finding a regular starting position as the DH. But he's turned it on with that power game. Batting average still in the low area. And you see some of the guys through the history of the Astros who have hit over 30 home runs, who have also struggled with the batting average a bit, but not to the extent that Chris has this year.
Coming up, quality is job one. Layla Rahimi reports on the Astros starters taking care of business in their last 3 starts.
AT&T UVerse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-AT&T, mobilizing your world. We get you ready here for the third and final game of this three-game set between the Astros and the A's from Minute Maid Park in Houston. Layla Rahimi joining you as the third member of this broadcast. And one of the Astros' strengths and improvements this season has been with their starting pitching. And the last few days have been an excellent example of that. Look no further than what Brett Oberholzer, Scott Feldman, and Dallas Keuchel have been able to do in their last three starts. All of them both eating innings and also being able to stretch and help out the bullpen as well. Oberholzer, 6 2/3. Scott Feldman, 7 innings against Oakland. And then last night, Dallas Keuchel, 7 innings, 118 pitches, and a no decision against the A's as well. That was the 6th time in the last 7 starts that Keuchel has gone at least 7. I talked to Brent Strom, the Astros pitching coach, about the importance of what his starting pitching staff has done. And he said one of his main priorities all season has been for his starters to achieve quality starts. The Astros are 5th in the American League with 70 quality starts. And Strom said he wanted it to be one of the major strengths of his staff, and has been achieved. I asked Strom about his year with the Astros, and he said he wanted to cultivate his pitching staff. And for his non-veterans, unlike Feldman, he wanted Keuchel, Colin McHugh, also Brett Oberholzer and Brad Peacock to know that not only did they belong in the big leagues, but that they were going to grow and flourish and hopefully build a foundation. So far, so good. Stay with us here at Minute Maid Park as we get you ready for first pitch of Game 3, the last game of this series against the Oakland A's. Alan Ashby and Bill Brown is back. They will have the call coming up next.
In a very important game for the Oakland club, which now has fallen one game behind the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And guess what's coming up next for the A's? A 4-game series in Anaheim starting tomorrow night. So, Alan Ashby, these Oakland players really have to be primed as they head west after this one. They're 1 game back now after being in first quite a bit of this season, and the Mariners are 6.5 out.
They're a challenge ball club physically. They've got a number of guys that are crucial to them on the DL, but they have also set up their starting rotation to go right after the Angels in that upcoming series.
Well, they'll face Brad Peacock tonight, and Peacock looks at this Oakland starting lineup for Bob Melvin. Coco Crisp is the DH and leadoff man. Defensive wizard Sam Folt is in center field, with Josh Donaldson at third base, Stephen Vogt at first, Brandon Moss in left field, Derek Norris the catcher, Josh Reddick in right field, Alberto Callaspo at second base, Eric Sogard is the shortstop, and the pitcher will be lefty Drew Pomeranz.
On the mound for the Astros tonight, 26-year-old right-hander Brad Peacock. Good to see him back out there because his last start, in which he pitched very well, 5 innings of 2-hit, 1-run baseball, left him with a little bit of a sore area in the forearm. Weren't sure if we were going to see him again anytime soon, but here he is, not missing a turn, and he's had his struggles in the months of June or make that July and August.
Well, that last start was reassuring with the 5 innings and 1 run allowed at Cleveland. And because of that area below his elbow, he did some throwing on flat ground rather than the normal bullpen between starts. He reported that everything was fine. And now we're about to find out how fine it is, Ash.
And again, that last start was so sharp, it really stood out from other starts. And he's had a very rough go here in recent starts, so it was great to see, but it was tough to watch him have to come out of the ballgame.
Well, he was involved, of course, in that multiplayer deal with the Oakland A's. Coco Crisp, a .251 hitter, has 8 homers, 43 driven in, and taking ball 1. And Jed Lowry on the other end of that deal is working his way back from a finger injury. While Chris Carter, also coming over with Peacock, has been going crazy with a home run bat lately, as you know. Now it's 2 balls, no strikes, as Peacock is 1-3 with a 5.83 ERA against Oakland in his career. And slots that one into the zone for a 2-ball, 1-strike count. The home plate umpire Paul Emmel, the crew chief, rings it up. The A's have the advantage in the season series, 9-6 over the Astros. That's a pitch that looked pretty good, and it is for strike 2. It's a good down and in pitch right on the corner. And a little roller stays fair. This is trouble for Matt Dominguez, barehanding with no throw, and Coco Crisp on a ball with some crazy English on him. An inside pitch, and it rolled inside that third base line and stayed well fair for an infield hit for Crisp.
You take a full swing, you hit it right off the end of the bat, just squib it, spinning down that third base line. Most guys are going to get a hit on that, and certainly Coco Crisp will. Watch it just come off the end of the bat, a little cue shot. And with a couple of strikes, you're going to play back defensively. No way on earth Matt Dominguez had a shot here.
Crisp has 16 steals in 20 attempts. Peacock works to Sam Fuld now. Jesus Guzman, the first baseman, holding the runner. And there's strike 1 to Fuld. Fuld at .255 has 2 homers. He's driven in 24 runs. And he has taken away a bunch of runs with outstanding play in the outfield this year. He's a take no prisoners type of defender. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Peacock with that 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run allowed at Cleveland. Left the game with a no decision last time. The Astros won it 5-1. Fault showing bunt, and he takes it upstairs for a 2-ball, 1-strike count. The A's picked up Fuld right before the season started. Then Minnesota claimed him on waivers and traded him back to Oakland for the lefty Tommy Malone, who was with Tampa Bay last year. In the air, and Matt Dominguez moves back. Peacock gets out number 1. You talked about the recent struggles of Peacock before that last start. Things not going well at all with a 6.98 ERA in August now.
And he coupled that with a rough month of July. And it's been a real struggle for Brad. I think it's been a struggle to run him out there at times.
Now MVP candidate Josh Donaldson. Donaldson with a .252 average has 25 homers, 87 runs batted in. Not the MVP type of batting average, but the other numbers are solid. And that is strike 1 to Donaldson.
And the other side of the game, Brownie, has been a little tough to figure. A lot of people like what Donaldson does defensively. And yet you look at the overall numbers, he has 20 errors on the year.
Well, he's hit .389 against Houston pitching with 5 homers, 18 runs batted in this season. And fouls it back. No balls, 2 strikes for Peacock. Shooting for win number 4 of the season. 2 of those First 3 wins have come here at home. And this could be a big one for him tonight. Rosters are about to expand in early September. Hard to know what the Astros rotation plans are. They're not tipping their hand on that. There's a throw over to first. But there are a couple of guys on the 40-man roster for Houston who are pitching well right now for AAA Oklahoma City. And that club now has moved into first place, by the way, by 1 game. So there might be some other options, and there may be some pitchers whose innings would cause them to be shut down before the end of the season. Well, this is Brad Peacock's 20th start of the year. Not knowing when his final start might be, he certainly wants to keep it going with what he's done last time out at Cleveland. Pile another good start on top of that one and take away that bad taste of the earlier starts this month. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes with Carlos Corcoran doing the catching tonight. Jason Castro getting a night off with the lefty Pomeranz pitching for Oakland. The A's won 15 of the 19 games against the Astros last season. Now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Donaldson. These Oakland hitters known for working the count.
Even Sam Fuld, who kind of comes in as a guy who's played in other organizations, steps in and adopts that same ploy.
That's a foul ball by Donaldson. The A's do quite a bit of platooning. Donaldson, of course, one of their everyday guys, but they do move people in and out of the lineup with those platoons. And they have been solid, leading the American League in runs scored with 629 this season. They have outscored their opponents by 164 runs. That's tops in the American League. In fact, hot tops in the majors right now.
They've had that nice combination of scoring runs and pitching so well.
Runner takes off early. Peacock delivers the pitch. It's hit in the air, foul. Jesus Guzman over, and it's out of play. Well, Crisp was almost halfway to second base by the time the ball was delivered.
Got to find a way as a pitcher to vary your times when you start toward home plate and to be aware of your surroundings. When you hear your first baseman holler, as he had to have heard right there, you've got to be able to adjust.
Crisp has been a very good base stealer throughout his career. He certainly read that one well. And this one gets by Corcoran. Now he'll waltz to second base on the wild pitch. Things have really turned around since the 0-2 start to Donaldson. Now it's 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the runner has moved into scoring position.
Brad Peacock went into the quick semi-slide step, but that quick delivery to the plate, and I don't know if that took him out of his rhythm or what, but pitch not even close.
Now Bo Porter's right-hander has a 3-2 offering coming next. Stephen Vogt on deck. And that one hit him. Looked like it got him around the left wrist. So Donaldson hit by the pitch, and runners are at first and second now with 1 out.
Donaldson was hit by a similar pitch last night, an off-speed pitch. This a changeup that just runs up and in.
Like left elbow. He tucked that wing in a little bit. And Crisp there at second now with Donaldson at first for Stephen Vogt. First inning can really be a key for Brad Peacock. He's had some major first inning starts this year that have gotten him behind. Vogt puts one in the air, and the left fielder comes over. Robbie Grossman underneath. That's a nice one pitch out for him for out number 2.
And a bit rare. Vogt's not a guy who often swings at the first pitch, and this wasn't in the strike zone. So a nice combination for Peacock to get a second out.
Brandon Moss will face him next. Moss hit a grand slam against the Astros out in Oakland 24th of July. He's hit .248 with 23 homers, 76 runs batted in for the native of Monroe, Georgia. An all-star this year. He had a 30 home run season last year. A year ago, he had the 6th best slugging percentage in the American League against right-handed pitching. That's ball one in tight with Altuve in the shift out in right field.
Come on, Brad. Come on now.
Moss had 2 hits Monday night in the opener of this series. Did not play last night. Oakland won at 8-2 Monday night. Houston won last night 4-2. In tight, and it's a 2-ball, no strike count.
Well, he's missing targets by a wide margin here in the inning.
You in court. Right now. Come on.
It's a real struggle for Brad Peacock here. Brad's from Palm Beach, Florida, 26 years old. Last year he was 5-6 with a 5.18 ERA. Lifetime record of 10-14 in the big leagues. That's a strike, and that makes it 2-1 to Moss.
Fortunate strike right there. Pitch that might have been off the inside edge. He's getting around that fastball to where he's yanking it to his glove side.
The fastball has been the real issue with him. He was much better last time. And he gets a foul tip on that one for a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Moss.
And you look at the radar gun reading, 94 on that fastball as he blows it by the bat. He's got good enough stuff. The command is not even close at times.
Now it's a full count. Derek Norris on deck. Peacock was traded to Houston in February of 2013 along with Chris Carter and Max Stassi for Jed Lowry and Fernando Rodriguez. (3-2) with 2 outs. The runners will move. And it's ball 4. Now the bases are loaded for Norris. An infield hit, a hit batter, now a walk. Have 3 men on base, and Norris will have the RBI opportunity.
And this wildness just makes an inning go on, and defensively it's got to be tough to play behind this type of pitching.
As you see, 24 pitches have already been thrown by Peacock. Norris is 1 for 9 in this series. He drove in 2 in the opener Monday night. 279, 10 homers, 49 runs batted in, with a 370 on base average for Norris. He's hit just 186 over his last 13 games. And that's ball 1 to him.
So see how many pitches are missing on that side of the plate, where yes, in that case he's trying to hit that side, but he continues to miss a little further in that direction.
Norris is hitting .345 with men in scoring position. Crisp, Donaldson, and Moss the base runners. Now it's 2-0 to him. Josh Reddick on deck. Norris, 25 years old, another all-star for Oakland this year. He's from Goddard, Kansas. He'll be ready to pounce on this 2-0 pitch, a 154 hitter with the bases loaded. That's in for a strike.
And he finds the outside edge with a little benefit likely on that call.
Norris has hit just .211 in the month of August. There's a good heater. 2-2. Very interesting and inconsistent inning here for Brad Peacock. He's thrown some great pitches. And now can he finish it? 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 3 men on. Full count on Norris. third full count of the inning. And here's an awfully big pitch early in this game. Peacock has thrown a lot of fastballs.
It's a bit like the golfer who continues as a right-handed golfer to miss left.
Yep. 3-2, and it works. He gets a foul tip strikeout. He has to work awfully hard, but gets a scoreless first inning with 3 men left on base. Now the Astros come up, and here's the starting lineup for Bo Porter's club, which is 156 and lost 77. Robbie Grossman in left field, Jose Altuve second base, Chris Carter DH, Dexter Fowler center field, Jesus Guzman first base, Matt Dominguez third base, Jake Marisnick right field, Carlos Corporon catcher, Gregorio Petit shortstop.
On the mound for the Oakland A's, left-hander, 25 years of age, Drew Pomeranz. And on the course of the season, he's 5-4 with a 2.91 ERA. He's pitched well in relief, better than he has as a starter, but the numbers as a starter have been just fine. Just called up today from Sacramento.
He has pitched well, as you saw from those numbers, but broke his right hand in a fit of pique after that final start with the A's before being sent down. And last time out for Sacramento, gave up 6 runs in 5 2/3 innings. So this will be his first major league outing since June 16th. He opened the season in the bullpen for the A's. It's Robbie Grossman leading it off for Houston. The switch hitter at 211 with 6 homers has driven in 30. As a right-handed batter, Robbie's hitting .314. He takes ball 1. Robbie's 1 for 8 in this series. With his 44 walks, 16 of those in his last 24 games. He's second on the club. Takes a strike, and it's a 1-1 strike count. Pomeranz from time to time will reach 95 miles per hour. Average fastball about 91. He throws that about 75% of the time. And the curve, which you saw there, is his other pitch, which he throws 24% of the time. Only 1% of the time does he throw his changeup.
Well, I guess as a hitter, you don't bother looking for that pitch.
It would be a waste, wouldn't it?
He has been one of the many pitchers that has had his struggles elsewhere, comes to the A's and pitches well. And the numbers would indicate that ERA-wise, anyway, he has been far better as a member of the A's than elsewhere.
First round pick by Cleveland in 2010, the 5th player drafted. He's from Collierville, Tennessee, and went to the University of Mississippi. Just watching that right leg, he really opens it up. He doesn't close on his leg kick.
Unusual delivery. Really stands up. The front shoulder tilts upward as he begins. And just a little bit of odd mechanics, I think, through the entire delivery.
Yeah.
Long arm swing in the back, and that's just fine. Really comes down to where he gets everything as he lands.
Well, that leg kick is certainly unusual.
Yeah.
There's a leadoff walk to Grossman. The A's defensively have Moss, Fold, and Reddick in the outfield. On the infield, they have Donaldson, Sogard, Callaspo, and Vogt, with Norris, the catcher, for Pomeranz. And defensively, they cost themselves the ball game last night. Leading 2-1, they made a costly error in the 8th inning that opened the floodgates. Carter hit a 3-run homer after that, and they lost it 4-2.
Intriguingly, that happened right after defensive changes late in the ball game. Brought on Stephen Vogt to play first base, and he dropped a low throw, a very catchable throw.
Jose Altuve, the league leader, at .333, 6 homers, 43 driven in, showing bunt, taking ball 1. Altuve has a 19-game hitting streak against Oakland. That's the longest hitting streak by an Astro against another team since Lance Berkman hit it 21 in a row against Colorado from 04 through 08. Altuve's hitting .425 against lefties. Fold in right center. 1 out. Grossman at first for Chris Carter now. Carter has come back to haunt the Oakland A's, who traded him a couple of years ago, and here's the latest issue with Carter hitting his 5th home run against Oakland this season.
Number 32 overall for Chris, and it was a no-doubt bomb to left field and a difference maker in the ballgame. In fact, of the 32 home runs hit by Chris Carter this year, 19 have come in Houston wins.
That's a good stat. Carter now waiting for the first offering with the right side of the infield wide open for him. And there's ball 1 to Carter. 227, 32 homers, 77 runs batted in for Chris. So he has been unloading big home runs the last couple of weeks, especially. But this entire month of August, he's put himself into a position to be Player of the Month in the American League. Strike there, evens the count at 1-1. He's hit 11 homers. He's driven in 28 runs. Both those figures are tops in the American League in August, and his batting average is .283 for August. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count as Chris looks it over from Pomeranz.
The heroics the last couple of nights coming for Carter on the heels of struggling at the end of the road trip while he was striking out quite often.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch him lately. Always dangerous. He's homered in both games of this series. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You and Larry Durker were talking last night about that 4 strikeout game followed by a homer the 5th time up. That was something to watch. It's just what he's proved to people this year. You can't give up on Chris Carter. About the time people think he's going to strike out a 5th time, he rips one 430 feet. Ground ball to short, and it's kicked by Sogard, and he gets the out at second nonetheless. On Grossman, forced play from 6-4. Carter reaching.
With that home run you just mentioned, the one after 4 strikeouts in New York, and another one of the game winners.
He's been doing that. Very meaningful blasts.
Now this was automatic double play time, but for the kick right there. And I'm not so sure, it might not have been wise to just go ahead and take a shot at first base here.
Aspo might not have had a grip on the ball to do that. Dexter Fowler bats now. He looks at ball 1 at .272. Dexter has 8 homers. 28 runs batted in. He chimed in with home run number 8 of the season last night. Hit the ball well a couple of other times, and they were caught. This one goes out to right center. On the run is Reddick. Reddick now cuts back over towards center for the catch. And it's no runs, no hits, a man stranded. 0-0 after 1.
have some good news. It is Astros social media night, and that means it is time to tweet your photo using hashtag CSN Fan Photo. And the best one will be shown in an upcoming broadcast. It is brought to you by AT&T. Send it back upstairs. Alan Ashby, nice to see you, Bill Brown.
Thanks, Layla. Hey, some of your North Texas buddies are going to be joining us this inning.
I'm glad to hear it. The Eli Young Band, hailing from Denton, Texas.
You're all over it. Have you met these guys yet?
I have not. I used to listen to them quite a bit in college.
Oh, yeah.
Glad to see they're down here.
Absolutely. Josh Reddick gets it going in the second inning. And takes ball one for Peacock. 255 for Reddick. 10 homers. He's driven in 39. 1 for 3 with a homer in this series for Josh. That's a strike to him. Reddick, an excellent defensive player. Homered off Scott Feldman Monday night. That's a line shot into right field. Marisnik comes over to pick it up, and it's a leadoff single by Reddick. Feldman pitched well Monday night, and Dallas Keuchel followed it up with an excellent game last night. Both of the Astros starters going 7 in the first 2.
After a struggle last year, Josh Reddick got off to a very slow start this year. It looked like there might have been problems in right field for the Oakland A's, but he's turned it on.
That's hit number 2 for Oakland. Alberto Callaspo steps up. Callaspo at 240. Double play depth for Altuve and Petit. There's a shot to Petit on one bounce. Backhanded flip. Leads Altuve perfectly to the bag. 6-4-3 twin killing. Well coordinated by Petit and Altuve.
Eddie Murphy says, boys and girls, can you spell gem? Because that was a gem. And I mean, that's kind of the way you do it during batting practice, where you just kind of have fun together.
Yeah. That
was beautifully set up. And then, not to be outdone, Altuve just races across the bag as he continues the play. That's gorgeous stuff.
That was casual backyard. All right. Eric Sogard is the batter. Sogard, an occasional shortstop with the injury to Jed Lowry. At 218, has 1 homer, 17 runs batted in, 1 hit in the series. That's ball 1. And the Astros signed Petit as a free agent over the winter. Jose Altuve was on the caravan, and I asked him about Gregorio, who's also from Venezuela. He said, oh, he has great hands. 2 balls, no strikes.
He's done a lot of things nicely for this club. Pinch running, swinging the bat, coming up with key hits, big moments.
It's 3-0 to Sogard when a pitcher throws 30 pitches in the first inning. People are going to be watching that pitch count more carefully than ever in the succeeding innings, because that is a stressful way to start the game. 3-1 to Sogard. Because Feldman went 7 Monday night and Keuchel went 7 last night, the bullpen is pretty well rested. Sogard takes a walk. Number 2.
It is hard to figure, with the style of pitching that is employed by Brad Peacock, that he would have the command issues, that release point issue, as often as he does.
Coco Crisp comes around for the second time. He hit that roller off the end of his bat to third base for a single in the first inning. Well, Javier Bracabani, the Astros bullpen catcher, spotted in a session with Peacock that he seemed to be tipping his pitches. And so he's been working on that. Strike to Crisp. So evidently the hitter was able to predict what pitch would be coming just by looking at something that Peacock had done before that ball came out of his hand.
Can certainly vary. There's the grip of the 4-seam fastball. And if you're trying to spot that pitch, you've got to make sure the fingers stay behind the baseball.
Altuve on a 2-hopper. Gets a third out. No runs, a hit, and a man left. No score. Park in Houston, Texas. And it's a four-man band that was born at the University of North Texas. And the first CD in '02. And we are joined by Mike Eli, the lead singer, and John Jones, the bass player. Glad to have you guys.
Well, thanks for having us.
Tell us about the Eli Young Band. And you guys have had #1 hits, been all over the place. What's next for you?
Well, we're actually here at Minute Maid Park because we're talking about our house party. We just announced that we're having our second annual right here at Minute Maid Park. Josh Abbott Band, as well as Donna Schrett and Cody Johnson, and a few other surprises for November 15th.
November 15th, and Mike is from Tomball, so it's a homecoming.
It's kind of a homecoming for me right now. So
great to have you back, and you did a voiceover for us earlier tonight, so thanks for that.
I appreciate you having me.
And well, you're welcome anytime, and you guys are well known in this area. Certainly not only this area, but you performed with Miranda Lambert, opening up for her. And what's your biggest thrill as far as meeting the big names in country music?
Getting to know them and just how down to earth they are. We were out with Kenny Chesney all last summer, played a handful of baseball stadiums as well as a bunch of NFL stadiums. And so a guy at that level who's doing that every night, that you don't ever have to get a big head or a big ego, and they're just as thrilled to be on stage as we are night after night.
Yes. Jesus Guzman checks his swing on that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So you've done a fair amount of touring around of baseball stadiums. What's your favorite park?
Well, I grew up in the Houston area, so I actually will go with the Astrodome because I have so many memories there. But I'm going to guess that that's going to graduate to Minute Maid Park.
There are a few improvements here at Minute Maid.
Yes, don't you think?
Creature comforts that you don't remember from Astrodome days. Yeah, but it's going to be fun having you guys. Is it Friday night now? You're going to be over at Union Station?
Oh, tonight.
Tonight.
And tonight, I guess we kind of blew it by announcing it, but we're going to do the official announcement of the lineup just for some small group of radio winners, I think it is. So.
Right, a real reveal party, a special night for some of the fans. So
we'll play a few songs.
Very good. And that's happening actually during this game, right? So you have to miss
towards the end.
Towards the end of the game, all right? So when you watch a game like this, you see Brad Peacock load the bases in the first inning.
You don't like that pitch count. That's a lot of
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Gets you right into the game as a fan watching that pitch count, doesn't it?
It was nice to see the second inning go a bit smoother.
Yeah, that's important. 2 balls and strike. There you are, the Eli Young Band. ACM Song of the Year, Crazy Girl. So when you write a song like Crazy Girl and you put it down, how long is that process for that one song? How long did that take?
Well, Crazy Girl was our first #1, so it actually took almost a year before it hit #1 from the first moment of release to the actual week it went #1. So that one took a little bit longer than most, but that was a long road, and it was a huge moment for us to have our first #1.
It's got to be, and in that creative process, you're cranking out all kinds of songs, probably working on several at one time, right?
A lot of bad ones, hopefully a good one in there.
Okay. Yeah.
So then when you get one like Crazy Girl, do you guys all have the feeling like, yeah, this is the one, this is really going to do well?
That song was a no-brainer for us. We knew right away that it was going to be a special one for us, and especially when we tried it out and started playing it in front of the fans, that's when we really knew it was a special one.
A lot like sports, you've got a great team that has potential, could go all the way, but there's so many variables. Same thing with music. You had a great song, but you never know what it's going to do. So we had a little bit of luck on our side. No major injuries, a good bullpen, and they made it to the top.
Just fouled by Dominguez. Is it like a sports star? You get your first #1, and there's this great sense of achievement. Finally, we've done this fabulous thing that we've been trying to do and dreaming about doing, but then more is expected, right?
The pressure's on. You got to follow it up, and you got to continue delivering. And so. We've been lucky enough to continue down this road. We just hope they don't cancel our contract and trade us.
Dominguez pops it up. Here's Norris coming back. And out of play.
And we've had a chance to meet a lot of professional athletes, and I think there's a lot of common bonds we have. Yeah. We know we're the lucky few, and we know that it took a lot of hard work to get here, and a lot of down-to-earth guys that really appreciate what they have, and they got to work their butts off to stay at it.
Right. And it's not instant stardom, is it? It's playing before small groups for a while, probably.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you got to start off in those small bars, and eventually, 14 years later, you make it to the big leagues.
Strikeout for out number 2. So November 15th, and Minute Maid Park is the venue. Is that correct?
It is.
That's right.
And if you've never had a chance to come see a show here, I know they said to do Paul McCartney, Taylor Swift. There's been a handful. It's special for us because there's no experience like being down on the field. But as far as coming here, it's really no brainer because there's plenty of seats, going to be comfortable, plenty of parking, short lines to the beer stand.
Well, the ticket price, seeing all the acts, Thomas Rhett, Josh Abbott Band, us, Cody Johnson, for that ticket price, you'd pay for any one of those acts, and so it's nice to have all of us in one night for that one ticket price.
You bet. Strike one to Jake Marisnick. So I'm just thinking back, Beyonce and her husband performed. You guys might be the first concert since them. That's a little pressure, right?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. That happens, the pressure of delivering.
We don't have as many wardrobe changes as Beyonce. There's a couple other differences, but that's the first one I can think of. I bet that was a heck of a show, though.
Oh, it must have been. We were on the road at the time. Carlos Corcoran on deck. Foul straight back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, when you guys were together at North Texas?
That's right.
What was it? Maybe sophomore year you all met, or how did you meet?
We had 3 of us were sophomores, and Mike was a freshman. And the 3 of us knew each other and kind of just played around that first year, but we were missing a lead singer. It was pretty obvious. And then Mike came to school and started writing songs with James. All 4 of us lived together, and it was really organic.
Yeah, James and I started writing some songs, and we realized we kind of made up a band, decided to go have a good time, play for some free beer, and then a few years later we decided, you can make money at this? Are you kidding? Right. So we
eventually graduated.
Yeah. Well, you've done very well, and thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks
Great
for
to have
having
you with
us.
us.
Appreciate it.
November 15th, right here.
Yeah, come on out.
No score after 2.
Baseball is back with all 30 MLB teams and 2014 players. Get the retro 2-button style baseball game you've been missing. Visit RBIGame.com for more details and download today on your console and mobile device, guys.
Thanks, Layla. 0-0. We go to inning number 3. Brad Peacock on the mound. Sam Fuld in the batter's box. Fuld popped to third in the first inning. Peacock survived the bases loaded threat. So he's at 41 pitches entering the 3rd, throwing strike 1 here to Fuld. He'd love to have a 1-2-3 inning, but it's the 2-3-4 hitters coming up for Bob Melvin's hard-hitting Oakland A's. though they have not hit as well in August. And part of that would probably be due to injuries. Another part of that would probably be due to trading for John Lester, which was a great acquisition, but trading Yoenis Cespedes to get him. Swing there by Fold takes the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I think, Brownie, I think the trade that you mentioned, losing Cespedes, really changed the dynamic of the Oakland A's lineup.
Still 1-2. Well, he was one of those sluggers in the middle of their lineup. So that means they would expect to have enough offense without him, or they would not have made that deal. Lester is one of the premier pitchers in the game. And certainly they've made an outstanding mound acquisition, but did they give up too much offense? That's what people are asking. Strike 3. Strikeout number 2 for Peacock.
Nicely spotted, little slider at the knees, and it's a great spot. All you can do is hope you get the call.
Now Josh Donaldson, he was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Been nursing a sore left knee. Curveball, ball 1. Peacock threw a very high percentage of fastballs in the first inning. Fastballs would set up his secondary pitches. And a smack foul, 1-1. The second time through the order, he's showing some different looks to these hitters.
So did you get yourself on the band, really?
Nope. Got rejected again.
You're not going to go on tour with them, huh?
They are just fine without us, Ash.
Well, speak for yourself, pal.
2-1. You've been invited to come in and play a set, though, on November 15th.
I'd like to think so.
You'll have some free time then.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Vogt's on deck. In the air to center field. Fowler over into right center. 2 down. It's social media night before the game tonight. General manager Jeff Luhnow was there. Colin McHugh spent a lot of time with the fans. I think Dexter Fowler was out earlier. Steve Sparks, Orbit. Got to meet a lot of nice folks out there in that patio. And then, of course, that includes a ticket for the game for those folks.
Folks have some giggles with Sparky.
They did have giggles with Sparky. He brought his harmonica. Yeah.
Oh, I think he was auditioning for the band, wasn't he?
You bet he was. There's ball 1. We got batting practice home run out there, though, while it was all taking place.
I want to know what man hit one out there.
One of the Oakland A's. We couldn't identify him. We were too far away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's George Springer territory.
Yes, it is. 52 pitches, just about 50%. 4 strikes for Peacock. It's a 1-2 count. For the second consecutive year, the Alzheimer's Association is partnering with Major League Baseball clubs to end Alzheimer's disease. It's the 6th leading cause of death in the U.S. So you'll see some purple ties and some purple handkerchiefs tonight. That's a foul ball, keeping the count at 1-2. There are more than 5 million Americans living with Alzheimer's disease. 15 million people provide care. Dramatic emotional and financial costs of this disease are felt by entire families, often for many years. Vogt lays off, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. For more information about Alzheimer's disease or how you can get involved, visit the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org. Call the toll-free 24/7 helpline at 800-272-3900. There's a strikeout for Peacock, his 3rd. He has a 1-2-3 3rd inning, and it's scored.
is time to talk about In-Game Live over at CSNHouston.com, because In-Game Live is your source for all the stats you need, the in-game matchup stats that go beyond the box score. You can also vote for your player of the game if you go to In-Game Live at CSNHouston.com, because your top choice gets shown on TV afterwards on Astros Postgame Live. So I was doing some thinking after Chris Carter's heroic home run last night, and I was thinking how big and strong that he is, and he probably hit like a freight train on the football field, and football season's right around the corner. So tonight's Twitter question is related to that. Which Astros player do you think would make the best football player, and at which position? Tweet me at HoChenCSN and explain, because I'm reading the best tweets on TV. Guys?
A couple of candidates right there, Singleton and Carter. We'll see what the answers are. Thanks for that, Howard. No score as Carlos Corcoran leads it off in the Astros' third inning.
These guys would be good choices. I'm going George Springer as a receiver.
Oh, that's right. Fouled away, strike one to Corp. 240 batting average, 5 homers, 18 runs batted in. And he's hitting a few points higher as a right-handed batter this season. He's hitting .214 against Oakland pitching. It's 0-2 as Pomerantz, who has pitched well for Oakland, gets ahead in the count. In order to set up his rotation for the next series with the Angels, 4 games in Anaheim, Pomerantz was the choice to start this game for Bob Melvin. He gets strikeout number 4. That's 3 in a row. 4 in a row, make it.
Just a high fastball out over the plate, maybe off the outside edge.
So that means it's Gray, Lester, Kazmir, and Samardzija against the Angels the next 4 nights.
Yeah, they really set it up. Obviously, Bob Melvin wanted to get his rotation right in place for the Angels.
Gregorio Petit, a .286 hitter, has 1 homer, 5 runs batted in. Giving Marwin Gonzalez a rest tonight at shortstop. And he gets the big hook and takes it for ball 1.
Petit does a great job. I would ask the question, did Marwin need a day off? He's been playing so well.
(2-0) to Petit.
Sometimes days off are really designed to help another guy get a chance to get in the ball game. Marwin's been steady with the glove, swinging the bat well from both sides.
2-1 to Petit. It was one of the Astros' best wins of the season last night, coming from behind with that big home run by Carter in the 8th to beat a club that was tied for first at the time, now in second place by 1. 3-1 the count. That was the 14th win for the Astros in their final at bat, and it was the 4th time in the final at bat that Carter hit a home run. Liner over shortstop, and diving the left fielder Moss, unable to make that catch. Here's the play at second by Fold. His throw not in time, and it's a hustling double for Petit. Well, Moss just launched his body, wound up with a short hop play, and then the ball kicked away from him.
All-out effort by Moss, and he does a nice job to make sure the ball doesn't scoot on by. But Sam Fold was the one also really hustling, and he came up not shy a bit in terms of all-out effort. That's giving it everything you've got, and at the same time making sure the ball doesn't scoot on by. That's also coming around the bag all out, anticipating the chance for the 2 baggers.
Yes, it is. Double number 5 for Petit, and it's Robbie Grossman with 1 out. He wraps 1 foul. Strike 1 for Grossman as they scramble for that souvenir. Robbie's hitting .169 right-handed coming into this game.
It's a bit hard to figure out when you reflect back to last year when he was so good from the right side.
Maybe just not enough at bats.
And a lot of times that's what it is for right hand sides for switch hitters.
That's a very good point, Ash, because sometimes you might go a week or 10 days without facing a left-handed starter.
You tend also to see in batting practice all right-handers throwing batting practice, and the tendency for the switch hitter is to swing from the left side.
Would you like to have an occasional left-handed BP pitcher?
I think it's a good thing. I also think, and a lot of guys would disagree with me, but I don't think it would be a bad thing to see some breaking balls, just to have a round of curveballs. I don't think it's a bad look.
Grossman takes it. It's 1-2 for Robbie. Astros have hit only .230 against Oakland pitching. They've scored 61 runs in 15 games. They've hit 17 homers off the A's pitching staff.
Yeah, Robbie a year ago hit .329 against lefties.
Turn back towards second, and Petit goes back to the base. Sonny Gray opened the season, of course, in the rotation with Oakland. So did Scott Kazmir. And Jesse Chavez was in that rotation. Dan Straley and Tommy Malone with Pomeranz in the bullpen when the season opened. It's 2-2, and they had to make adjustments because of injuries to a couple of guys who had been in the rotation in the past and had to have surgery. A.J. Griffin, one of those, and he hasn't been able to pitch this season, and Jared Parker, the other. Then they made the trade July 5th and picked up two starters from the Cubs, Jeff Samardzija and Jason Hamill. And that is strike three call for Grossman. Strikeout number 5 for Pomeranz. So with that kind of depth, Pomeranz making only his 9th start with Oakland.
The number of times that Robbie gets caught looking is a bit alarming. A lot of times you might say, well, it was a borderline pitch, but that's also where you need to expand.
Jose Altuve will try for the big 2-out hit here. He hit a fly ball to center in the first inning. Altuve leads the league in hits with 180. He's a career .343 hitter against Oakland. So the A's have really had a changing rotation throughout the season. They made the deal July 5th with the Cubs for Samardzija and Hamill. Then they made that big trade with Boston for Lester. They even used lefty Brad Mills for 3 starts at one point in the season. And Samardzija dialed up a beauty here Monday night.
I think the A's, at least a lot of people have suspected that some of that dealing for pitching was to give them a little better chance against the Tigers. But that may not even be a reality. The Tigers have had their struggles.
The Tigers may not be there. Currently in second place. For Kansas City with another big walk-off last night. Keeps in front of Detroit. Tigers have some injuries that are really costing them. Anibal Sanchez may not be back this year. And Detroit is trailing the Yankees tonight 8-1 after giving up 8 in the third.
Yankees have been hard charging here over the last week.
They have. They had won 5 in a row before losing to Detroit. Still in the thick of it. Way outside to Altuve. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. It's going to be a very good September for fans of pennant races in Major League Baseball. Orbitt's really forceful out there.
I think he's going to get his way at some point.
It's not a good idea to turn down space creatures. 3 balls and a strike. Rays lead the Orioles tonight 3-1. They're in the middle of the 7th inning. He's going to predict the sex of the baby now, as only an alien can do.
He'll stumble upon that answer.
Foul back, and it's 3-2 to Altuve. Pirates beat the Cardinals today 3-1 in Pittsburgh. Jeff Locke won that one, beating 15-game winner Adam Wainwright. Mark Melanson got his 24th save. But now Andrew McCutchen is hurt again for Pittsburgh.
He's been battling that injury over the past 2-3 weeks. Pirates need him.
Pirates began the day 5 behind Milwaukee. St. Louis was 1.5 back. That's a line drive caught by Callaspo. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left after 3. No score. Homestand underway. The Texas Rangers are coming in next for 4 next week. The Angels for 2. So it's going to be a look at the AL West clubs here on this homestand, and you have some big plans put together.
We do. It's always exciting when the Rangers come in town with a little in-state rival that's definitely heated up this year. Silver boot. It's up for grabs.
Yeah. And
got to get that boot.
we haven't had that boot for a while.
Since 2006. 2 more wins, and it'll live in Minute Maid Park, so it'll be on display on the main concourse this weekend. So folks should definitely go on by and see that. That'll be a lot of fun. It'll be nice to get that back in our park. So just have to squeak out 2 of the 4 and bring it back home.
Now, where do you store that thing when you do get it back in park?
We'll have to talk to Mike Acosta about that. But whenever it's here this weekend, it'll be on display in the main concourse in front of the home plate supply store. So I imagine probably in one of those stores on display. Whenever it comes back in here to stay, because we're very confident that it will.
You're sounding confident. 1-2 to Brandon Moss. Well, you've got some good promotional ideas all lined up for the weekend in Texas.
On Friday, we will give away our Lone Star Series T-shirt to the 10,000 fans that come in. It's kind of an annual giveaway when the Rangers come into town, so we're excited about that one. And then also we'll have our second to last installment of Friday Night Fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Corporation, and that one will be a movie magic theme, so we're excited about that. Our pyrotechnic team, ProFX, is really fantastic, and it's just really fun to see what kind of show they're able to put on each Friday. So always look forward to that on a big and bright Friday night, where our Astros will be wearing their orange jerseys, which of course is another favorite. And then prior to the game, of course, the return of the St. Arnold's Happy Hour. $5 12-ounce beers at the St. Arnold's Bar in left field. And we'll have some live music on the concourse again from Samuel Barker. So that'll be that'll be a lot of fun as well. So that'll kind of round out Friday night. And then moving into Saturday, as you can see right here, just earlier today, Nolan Ryan signed 50 of these Nolan and Reed Ryan dual bobbleheads that we'll be giving away on Saturday. So 50 lucky fans will receive a Nolan and Reed signed bobblehead. They'll be given away randomly at the gates. 10,000 of those will be distributed, and that bobblehead as well as the Lone Star Series t-shirt are presented by our good partners over at Houston Methodist. So we're excited to have them on board for this weekend.
Strikeout number 4. Moss goes down. Now Norris will be up. Now Reed looks like he's about 12 years old in that particular rendering.
Yep. And on the box artwork, we'll have the picture of what this bobblehead was inspired by, and it was them at the field in San Francisco, is what I was told today, before one of Nolan's games, and he was about 12 years old. So it's really fun to sort of reenact that photo in bobblehead form, and Reed will be signing each of these 50 bobbleheads tomorrow, so we're hoping to get a shot of both of them together with the bubble. That'll be something really special.
Yeah, I think Nolan was about 16 at the time of that win.
And special, you know, on a day where we're playing the Rangers, obviously ties to the family on both sides, and you know, really excited to give that one away. Our fans can never get enough of our Nolan Ryan items.
Foul ball. Norris comes back with an 0-2 count. Anything else of note coming up in the Rangers series, Christy?
That Saturday also pregame will be our Chevy Military Appreciation Night at the ballpark. We didn't really have a military holiday where we had a home game, so we're using this Saturday to celebrate our active duty and veterans thanks to Chevy. It'll feature a military color guard, national anthem, and a presentation of our giant flag by 40 volunteers that will be in uniform. So we're definitely excited to be able to celebrate those servicemen and women who protect us every day, and thank Chevy for bringing that to the table for us.
Strikeout number 5 for Peacock. He has it going now.
Looked like Carlos Corporon wanted this one off the outside edge, had to reach back to his left and got a pitch right at the bottom of the knees for a strike.
So we have military night.
And then before anything gets started on Saturday, we'll have Chris Carter, who, as you guys know, was just named AL Player of the Week earlier this month, and also Jose Cruz for an autograph session at Texas Bay Area Credit Union down in the Clear Lake area, 12611 Fuquay Street. So that's from 11 to 12 at that Texas Bay Area Credit Union location. So Chris Carter and Jose Cruz will be out there. Great way to start the day of baseball. Then come get your bobblehead and see an Astros win. Hopefully after a win on Friday night, and we can all celebrate when we claim the silver boot. How's that?
Right, that's a plan. And the Angels next week for just a 2-game series.
Yep.
Tuesday and Wednesday nights.
It's interesting with that Labor Day off that, you know, the 2-game series are always a little odd, I think.
Yeah, they're quick. They're over almost
quick.
Right after they start. There's a swing by Reddick, and it's 2-2, but again, the fans get to experience the pennant race in the AL West,
Yes.
as they are during this series when the Angels come in.
Yes, absolutely. Oakland in right now. Angels coming in on the back end. We'll see Seattle in September. So it's a good race at the top half of the division.
And a strikeout. Peacock strikes out the side. And Christy Miller, you brought some good karma to this one. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Christy.
That is brought to you by Slotomania. Play Slotomania and escape anywhere. Text GAME to 555-888 or download for free in your local app store. No score after 3.5 here in downtown Houston. Did you see today in the newspaper, the Houston Chronicle, that there's going to be a bike lane downtown, Ash?
A what?
A bike lane.
Oh, a bike lane.
Yeah, for bike riders.
No, I didn't see that, but
It's going to be a nice addition to downtown.
that'll suit you well, won't it?
No, but it'll suit a lot of the people who live downtown very well. And it's going to be green in color, helping with the greening of downtown Houston.
That was a pretty nice photo. Not exactly a photo, but live action going on downtown. That shot, real good looking.
Yes. Chris Carter leads it off. Home fourth inning. He bounced into a forced play in the first. Infield shifted around as usual. And there's strike one for Pomeranz, who has been tough on the Astros through 3. They have only 1 hit, a double by Petit in the third. And he walked the first man he faced, Grossman. So he's only thrown 51 pitches in this game. On one big hop, Donaldson, 1 out.
I think what I was trying to describe was the cloud movement cam we had out there.
Oh, yes. Now, this Oakland pitching staff, the second best ERA in the American League, 3.27, getting a boost from Pomeranz tonight. He's only had 1 bad start of his 8. Pomeranz, the first 2 times out this year in May, pitched shutout ball for 5 innings. In fact, the first 3 times out, 5 shutout innings for Pomeranz this season. Now Fowler. Dexter looks at ball 1. It was only in his last start, and that was when he punched that chair with his right hand, broke his hand. After the June 16th game against Texas, he gave up 7 earned runs in 3 2/3 in that one. Seems to be very effective so far tonight. 2 balls, no strikes. But now we'll see the second time through the order if the Astros hitters can put some learning to their advantage.
I think I've seen a trend where the furniture tends to win in those heavyweight brawls that go on with players.
Usually so. Some guys try punching walls. That usually doesn't work too well either. You know, some teams, you might have been on one, Ash. Have you ever been on a team that had a punching bag in the tunnel of the clubhouse?
I've heard about it. I have not been on one of those. I could see where that would be useful.
Yes. Smash into left center field. Fowler jumped all over the 3-0 pitch. That's hit number 2 for the Astros tonight. But, you know, they invite the players to take out their aggressiveness on that punching bag instead of other harder objects.
You know, the only thing I would initially think of with that is that there might be an expectation that you should go beat on the bag, because if you don't, then therefore you don't care enough. I don't know. I probably wouldn't care for that feeling down in the dugout.
Jesus Guzman struck out in the second inning. Double play depth for Sogard and Callaspo. Broken bat roller. Sogard charging. There's the toss. Callaspo across the bag. Sails the throw high and off the base. And stumbling going into first. Guzman is safe. 2 outs.
Well, there was another double play opportunity presented to the Oakland defense, not taken advantage of tonight. If the ball's hit a little more sharply, you'll have an easier shot, but that was routine.
This is the 11th start at shortstop for Sogard. Callaspo is the second baseman, starting his 38th game there. Matt Dominguez is the batter. Hunter takes off early. Here's the throw, and sliding in safely. It hits him. Fowler was forced, and now Guzman steals the base. That's rare. So Jesus Guzman gets into second with his 3rd steal in as many tries this year.
That's kind of the catch him by surprise bag. Pretty good jump. Not the greatest wheels, but catch him by surprise, and sometimes you'll get it easier than otherwise.
The A's have a league low 14 caught stealings this year. That's ball 1 to Dominguez. Matt could use a good game. His average has been slipping. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Last night, Petit got the start at third base. Dominguez 0 for 5 in this series now, but he can provide a very big lift if he connects here. That was only the 4th time all year that he did not start, and he wasn't in the lineup last night. It's 2-1 to Matt Dominguez.
That's a pretty good pitch to lay off on a 2-0. Slot yourself a fastball. If you don't get it, don't hack.
Now 3 balls and a strike with Marisnick on deck. Pomeranz was the SEC Pitcher of the Year at Mississippi in 2010. His father Mike also lettered there. His older brother Stuart pitched in the minors for Tulsa in 2010. That's a foul ball, and it's 3-2. And he first came to the big leagues for Colorado in 2011. Had some rough sledding there. He was traded to Oakland for Brad Anderson after the 2013 season. He was the player to be named in a deal. Dominguez fouls it back. Astros, of course, as you know, have some injured players who are working their way back. Lefty reliever Darren Downs will be heading out for a minor league rehab assignment tomorrow, and he's due to pitch Friday and Sunday, we understand, for Corpus Christi. Dominguez is down on strikes. That ends the 4th inning. It's strikeout number 6, and it's 0-0.
It is time for our progressive fan of the game. I think I may have found one of the best ones so far this season. It is Astros social media night, and I found one of my favorite people on Twitter, Amazing Grace. Grace, you're doing it big. You've even got the Orbit signature headband going with the antenna. Oh, and we've got the Bluebell going by. Gotta go. No, I'm just kidding. At the same time, you're a huge Twitter follower. You know everybody, it seems like. What is it like to be out here and be a part of this event?
It's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of the people that you don't necessarily meet on an everyday basis that you just know from Twitter or Facebook, and put faces to Twitter handles. You introduce yourself as your Twitter handle a lot of the time. It's a lot of fun. We're having a good time.
Yeah, like yours being at Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace.
You were able to meet Colin McHugh, though, and Dexter Fowler. Jeff Luna was out here, too. What was that like?
Yes, I met all of them and took some selfies, and they answered a lot of questions for us. Orbit was a lot of fun, as usual.
As we can see with your antenna. Now, something cool about these shirts as well is the fact that when Grace turns around, you can see her Twitter handle, at Amazing Grace. No better progressive fan of the game, guys, I don't think. Hashtag back upstairs. Hashtag we're done with this interview. Just kidding. Guys.
Oh, you're into it, Layla.
I am a Twitter person. You guys know this. I'm a big fan of the Twitter, as they say.
We do know that. And you should have been out there. We were talking about you and tweeting about you. 3 balls, no strikes to Kai Aspo now. He leads it off in the 5th. Scoreless game, very interesting game. Both clubs with 2 hits, no errors. 4 left for the visitors, 3 left for the home team. That's a strike, and it's 3-1. And Peacock had that immediate threat. Bases loaded, 2 outs in the first inning. Threw 30 pitches in that frame, but now has really turned it around.
Well, he was struggling in that first frame to throw strikes, and eventually got out of it. Since then, he's been pretty darn good.
He's retired the last 7, and he has struck out 5 of the last 6. Aspo bounced into a double play in the second inning. There's the breakdown, 44 strikes of his 76 pitches. The ratio has improved. That one is a pitch that he threw quite a bit in the first inning. That pitch down and in to a left-handed hitter, and it's ball 4. That's his 3rd walk of the night, and he's hit about it. But as you well know, Ash, it's about competing in the big leagues. There are nights when the first inning's not going to go well, but he competed. He got Norris on that 3-2 pitch, and that really turned the corner for him tonight.
One of the things that'll help Brad Peacock compete deeper into ball games is just simply steadily finding the strike zone, and that has plagued him ever since he's been in an Astros uni.
Sogard walked earlier. Fly ball out to center. Fowler waiting.
Time now for the AT&T Rewind. Talking about Brad Peacock and his evening that he's had. He's been picking up the strikeouts. He's spotting pitches around now after that first inning and starting to get a few quick outs. But these A's are going to take a lot of pitches, and you can take advantage of them if you can find the strike zone.
This is his 4th start of the year against Oakland. Coco Crisp is the batter. He's 1 for 2. An infield hit leading off the game. There's strike 1 to Crisp. Peacock for this season against the A's is 0-2 with a 7.90 ERA for those 3 starts. It's a ball, and that evens the count at 1-1. The Oakland A's are 30-22 against the clubs in the American League West. The Astros 23-31. The AL West can make a case for being the best division around this year.
Strong case. Where the AL West has had its issues is in the bottom 2 spots, where you've got a couple of clubs that have had their scuffles, but on the top end, very good teams.
Possibly 3 playoff teams from this division. If the season ended today, that's what would be the case, with Seattle holding down one of those spots, and of course the Angels and Oakland. In the air, had some riding action on that fastball, and it goes out to Petit. 2 outs. So let's look at the American League wild card race right now, Ash. We see the positioning there. The Athletics, who currently are leading in the first wild card race, and the Mariners are leading in the second, with the Tigers only one game behind them.
And you mentioned up top, the A's were tied with the Angels until the loss last night. The Mariners are hanging close. Then there's the Tigers, and that's a bit perplexing. The Yankees have come on strong. The Indians are a club that still has a chance.
Yeah, they're hanging right there. The Indians have been surprising to many of us.
It's a team that won 92 times last year.
Sam Fuld is 0 for 2, looks at ball 1, and not to discount the managerial abilities of Terry Francona, because he's been with consistently good teams, but Indians didn't really go out and improve their club with deals as some of the other teams did. 2-0.
Well, that's where they found themselves last year, in the first year that Francona took over as the manager, and they played well, and they played well down the stretch. Tough deal, though, when you're one of the wild card teams, even if you're that first wild card team, when you have to go into that one-game playoff to be able to then get into the real playoffs.
2-1. We're talking about that tonight with some of the Oakland broadcasters. And there's a lot of incentive for the A's, of course, and anybody to win this division. Otherwise, the way it would be right now, if the season ended at this moment, Oakland would play a one-game playoff with Seattle. And Vince Cotroneo, the former Astros radio broadcaster, currently doing the Oakland games on radio, said the Mariners have set up the rotation, so King Felix would be the guy to start that one-game playoff if it's a wild card game.
Well, that makes it a tough game, no matter who you run out as your starting pitcher. But it's possible that the team with the second best record in the American League could be in the wild card and lose a one-game race to go right on out of the postseason.
Yes. There's Vince Cotroneo. The A's, with Vince, one of their traveling party, of course, head out west after this game. They'll get in early in the morning, probably Los Angeles time, and take on the Angels tomorrow night in Anaheim. 3-2 with the runner going. And that's a foul ball. That's going to be an outstanding 4-game series coming up.
You know, the A's just got done taking 2 of 3 against the Angels, and that in Oakland. So, and it means so much that the A's set up that pitching rotation as they looked at this series with the Astros.
Callaspo takes off again. Fuld rips it foul on the ground. Tomorrow night in Anaheim, it's Sonny Gray and C.J. Wilson. Then John Lester pairs off with Jared Weaver. Scott Kazmir against to be announced, and Jeff Samardzija against Matt Shoemaker. Shoemaker is 13-4.
Sonny Gray was due to have pitched tonight.
Yeah, and for obvious reasons, pushed back to go against the first place club. Line drive into right center field. Callaspo heads for third base. He may score on this. Fowler picks it up, spins, and he's being sent home. Here's the relay and the one-hop throw to Corcoran. He's out. Gregorio Petit with the outstanding relay throw to the plate, guns down Callaspo for out number 3. Very well done. Fowler to Petit to Corcoran. And it's no runs a hit and a man left. Here's the execution on out number 3. And down at the plate, from Fowler to Petit to Corcoran.
Two major factors at play here. A perfectly executed relay by the Astros. Ideal with the toss from Fowler. Perfectly set up for Petit, who makes a great throw to the plate. But the other aspect of the play was a considerable lack of speed by Caiaspo coming to the plate. Makes it awfully tough on a third base coach.
Jake Marisnick takes the first pitch here in the home fifth inning, and it's ball one from Drew Pomeranz. Marisnick struck out in the second. 3 hits for the Athletics, 2 for the Astros. No errors tonight. Pomeranz deals it, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. That was the third outfield assist of the year for Fowler. One and 2 to Marisnick.
Hey guys, just a note to add on that play at the plate. The Astros were, of course, cheering and talking about it in the dugout afterward, and I heard the phrase a couple times about Caiaspo. He's slow, so they were on it too.
Mr. Ashby noted that. Fly ball to right field. Reddick. 1 out.
Yeah, far be it from me to be getting on guys about not running well, but in the terms of Caiaspo, you got your second baseman trying to score on this 2-out double gapper to right center field, and there was just nothing there.
The third base coach Mike Gallego, 2 outs is pretty much an automatic send when a guy's at third base, but it helps to have somebody who's speedy to make it.
It really is, and it takes a perfect relay to get the out, but it turned out to be that perfect play by Houston.
Corcoran takes, and it's strike one. Corcoran set up out in front of the plate. Well, the way these home plate calls have been going this year, it's hard to know for catchers whether they can block any portion of the plate or not.
Yeah, I just think the way it's all playing out, there are probably more people that have not been pleased about the ruling.
Donaldson, 2 outs. And Petit will follow.
And here's what disappoints me the most about it is that it has been totally inconsistent rulings on the play at the plate, where you'll see a catcher exactly in the place that another play might be, and the ruling will go completely opposite.
Petit got a double to left center field in the third inning. His stock has certainly risen since putting on an Astros uniform. Batting average up to .302 now.
Quality utility play.
Here's ball one.
Marwin was supposed to be that utility guy, but he's turned into the everyday guy, and so what a blessing to pick up Petit.
It's 2 balls, no strikes. The Oakland A's lead the American League in quality starts with 81. Pomeranz certainly working on one. It's 2-1. And a couple of reasons given by Bob Melvin for starting Pomeranz. One being that by sliding the other guys in the rotation back, it gives them that 1 extra day of rest. But then, admittedly, yes, you want them against the first place team.
Well, there was no doubt, as you say, that they wanted Sonny Gray to lead off that big series against the Angels and then just keep coming at the Angels with that tough starting pitching.
It's going to be a fascinating series to watch, the way the Angels swing the bats.
Because the Angels are without Garrett Richards, their ace starter.
There have been rumors around that Bartolo Colon is attracting a lot of interest after clearing waivers. The Angels might be a team to pick him up. That's a foul tip strikeout. It's number 7 for Pomeranz, and it's 0-0 through 5.
Astros at Minute Maid Park. And as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo using hashtag CSN fan photo for your chance to have your picture shown in an upcoming broadcast. This from Thomas. A nice picture. I do believe that's the green monster in the background. We've seen some great Astros road trip pictures from fans. Guys love it. Keep it coming. Also want you to know that every Thursday home game at Minute Maid Park this season is Dollar Dog Thursday. The next Dollar Dog Thursday, you're in luck tomorrow when the Astros take on the Rangers. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com. And Alan Ashby, I have a question for you.
You bring it.
Being a catcher, I talked to Art Howe about this a while back when they instituted the rule. And he said that he was always learning that you were supposed to slide with your foot flexed below the knee so that way you aim for where the catcher's leg would bend properly when you slide into the plate. Is that outdated now?
Well, I don't know. I guess it would be because you're not supposed to hit the catcher. So that's on the runner now. And on the catcher is that you don't get in the way without the baseball. And that seems to be kind of up in the air, a little bit of a coin flip in terms of what the umpires in New York have decided they will accept in terms of the catcher. But that last play that we just saw with Kai Espo coming in, up until this ruling came into play,
right?
When you're dead to rights at home plate, you were going to try to jar the catcher one way or the other. And a lot of times that was standing. And, of course, we've got Ray Fosse in the ballpark as one of the broadcasters for the A's. Ray Fosse met Pete Rose on a play like that in the All-Star game some years ago, and it was just a different style of play.
Well, and his point was that prior to that rule, that is how you avoided a lot of the collisions we saw. That prior to this rule being instituted, people were a little more diligent about the way they slid. And Buster Posey being the most memorable collision that may have helped lead to this rule. But that's the kind of stuff that, you know, you don't hear about a lot anymore, how to slide in.
Yeah, make no mistake, the play with Buster Posey is what created this scenario right now. And how a runner decided to come at a catcher was kind of up to him. But it was a sure thing when you were out by the margin we just saw right there. You better hit the catcher pretty well.
Kevin Chapman warming up in the Astros bullpen after the leadoff walk to Donaldson. Fourth walk of the night for Peacock. That brings up the number 4 hitter, Stephen Vogt. Vogt is 0 for 2, a fly ball to left and a strikeout. Peacock's pitch count at 95, so the bullpen has gotten ready in case. And there is strike 1 to Vogt. Happy birthday wishes to a couple of folks. Ava Hudis of Mechanicsville, Virginia. She's an Astros fan, and she is 7 tonight. And we have James McManus. Happy birthday to him, and he's a little bit older than 7. He's 65. But still a young man. 1 ball, 1 strike.
65. That comes. What'd you say? 65 or
65. That's young.
It comes just shortly after that 7th birthday.
A little bit.
At least that's the way it has. It's starting to seem anyway.
In the air and Fowler into left center field. Takes that one in. 1 out. Peacock has done well. You know, for a guy who's thrown 30 pitches, who has escaped a walk, a hit batter, and an infield hit, getting out of that bases loaded jam in the first inning, and has allowed just 2 other singles in this game. Walking 4 tonight. He's been very competitive.
Well, he's been finding the strike zone much better since the first. He's also gotten outs like this one on the fly ball with a fastball right through the plate. So that fastball has some life.
Seems to have confidence in it. He did not give up on it, despite the fact that he had a problem locating it in the first inning. Moss has walked and he has struck out looking. Which brings up the point, Ash. Your fastball's a pitch you want to establish. You try to do that in the first inning. You're falling behind the hitters. You've got the bases loaded. You've got to find something that'll work. And you still have to come back to that fastball at some point, right?
At some point, you have to be able to throw that pitch for strikes. There's no question. Thing about it is, though, for most pitchers, guys that don't have an exceptional fastball, they're going to give up their highest numbers in terms of batting average and the extra base hits on their fastball, especially when they miss through the heart of the plate. So you've got to have the other pitches to back it up. But that was my point on the Brad Peacock fastball tonight, is even when he is finding the heart of the plate, he's still getting outs on that pitch. And that speaks to having an above average heater. When you see first pitch batting averages for so many hitters and the numbers when a pitcher's behind, those speak to the way a major league hitter handles the fastball.
Peacock's only win against the A's was last September 5th in Oakland. Sonny Gray started against him. Peacock won at 3-2.
You know, it's a funny thing because you hear managers and pitching coaches constantly talking about throw the fastball, throw the fastball. Well, major league hitters hope like crazy you throw the fastball. So it's a unique blend, but when you have a good one, you can do it.
It's jerked toward the right field corner. In for extra bases for Moss. Here's Donaldson coming to third. And the ball comes into Altuve on a double by Moss. Runners at second and third, one out as Moss cranks one for 2 bases.
Well, no sooner do we say it than you get Brandon Moss, who is a good fastball hitter, getting one that he can handle, and he just rakes it to right. This is just the fastball being thrown right in there. And it's like batting practice dialed up a bit.
Donaldson to third on the 20th double of the year for Moss. And now first base open, a meeting at the mound, 1 out, and Norris the batter. Reddick on deck. The Astros have the infielders in tight. Now 102 pitches for Peacock. Norris has whiffed twice. He takes ball 1.
Come on, Pete. Come on now. Come on.
This is a 7-game road trip for the A's. After playing 4 in Anaheim, they go to Seattle. 24 of their remaining 31 games against the teams in the AL West. It's 2-0.
So Brad tries to come with some pitches off speed and falls behind. And that sets up that guessing situation for a hitter. 2-0. Do you get the fastball? If you do, you should be all over it.
Is there a chicken down there?
It's starting to sound that way. Check and see if he's from San Diego.
Probably somebody's phone. Foul ball, and it's 2-1.
There's your fastball, the predictable 2-0 fastball, and somewhat up out over the plate. That's a drivable pitch for Norris, and he doesn't get to it. Does that speak to not being on as a hitter, or that Brad Peacock fastball once again?
That Seattle series is not going to be in Seattle. It's going to be in Oakland after the 4-game set at Anaheim. And the Astros will be heading for Oakland right after Seattle visits the A's. Now 3-1 to Norris.
You know, much as anybody might have thought Seattle would be better this year with Robinson Cano, I don't think hardly anybody would have guessed they'd make the strides they've made this season.
True. And their general manager just reaped the rewards of it with a contract extension.
They are the #1 pitching team ERA wise in all of the American League.
Lloyd McClendon is really working that bullpen. There's a swing for strike 2 by Norris. Not a good swing. Looked like he was sitting on a fastball and he got a hook.
So there you go. There's the slider on the predictable fastball 3-1 count. And it really pays off. But the guys who pitch really well can throw that 3-1 or 2-0 slider or changeup, something other than the heater. And that's what's called pitching backwards. You throw fastballs when it's a breaking ball count and vice versa.
And we have not seen a lot of sliders, either last start or tonight, from Peacock.
You're right. And I'm wondering if the reason for that is that's the pitch that might create the issues near the elbow.
Good point.
And that's what brought Brad out of his last start. He's got a good one, though.
Well, here in late August, in his 20th start of the year, there's no reason to hold anything back. And that's ball 4 to load the bases. 5th walk of the night for Peacock. Now, how much does he have left in the tank? With Reddick coming up, lefty Kevin Chapman has been working. Bo Porter looks as if he's about to make a change. Yep. He's just indicated he wants the lefty on lefty matchup. Reddick's 1 for 2 tonight, and I think the pitch count is the major factor here. 108 pitches thrown for Peacock. And certainly a nice second straight good start for Peacock, coming out of a slump. As he leaves, it's still 0-0. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th. Kevin Chapman in just a moment. Important to the Athletics. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th inning. A look now at tomorrow's pitching matchup presented by Chevron. Care for your car. Nick Tepish and the Rangers come to town. Colin McHugh will pitch against them.
Colin McHugh has been Mr. Steady when he's healthy for the Astros this year. Just 6-9, but that ERA at 3.02 reflects pretty well the way he's pitched last 5 starts. Even much better, and again healthy in that span. 176 the Ernie.
Brad Peacock with a good night tonight, Ash.
It was a solid night. 2 straight good starts now for Brad Peacock. And he's going to have to continue to put up good starts if he's going to be a factor come the future now for the Astros in this rotation.
That's up to lefty reliever Kevin Chapman. Try to get out of bases loaded, 1 out, trouble. He's 1-0 with a 7.71 ERA. He's walked 10 in 11 2/3 innings. And that's going to be a real challenge for him to throw strikes. It's going to be a pinch hitter, Johnny Gomes, batting for lefty hitting Reddick. So the percentages go Bob Melvin's way. Gomes is 3 for 8 in this series with an RBI, 237, 6 homers this year, and a career 260 hitter with the bases loaded. 5 grand slams for Johnny Gomes. It's nowhere close, and it's ball 1 to Gomes. Reddick was 1 for 2. Gomes a part of the John Lester trade coming from Boston. He's had 27 at-bats with the A's, hitting .259. For the season, Johnny has 5 pinch hits, 2 of them homers as a pinch hitter. in 18 at bats. Now it's 2-0 to Gomes.
And this is the issue for Kevin Chapman. Last time out, he came in and threw strikes, and he had one of his most solid outings. Very impressive. But this is the pattern he falls into many times when he comes in.
Mike Fultonevich, a right-hander, is warming up. Chapman worked 2 perfect innings Saturday at Cleveland. Now falls behind 3-0.
You come in out of the bullpen, and you better be ready to throw strikes on that first hitter, and beyond that, on the first pitch you throw.
Chapman has not allowed a base runner his last 3 appearances, covering 3 2/3 innings. He has stranded all 7 inherited runners, but really up against it here at 3-0 with the bases loaded and 1 out. And a strike.
And prior to those last 3 games that you talk about, the 8 previous games he had come in for the Astros this year, he had walked at least 1 man.
Johnny Gomes, drafted by Tampa Bay, has had some big-time clutch hits. Drove in 52 for Boston last year. Hit a home run in the World Series. Fly ball out to left center field. Fowler going for it. Fowler with a running catch. Here's the tag. And the throw toward third. The run scores to make it 1-0 Oakland. On a sac fly by the pinch hitter Gomes. And Moss went from second to third on the play.
It's a tough play as a base runner at first base, but with that looped in throw by Fowler toward third base, this would have been a very easy move for the runner from first to move to second. Watch the way Fowler delivers this throw. Just kind of grenading it into the infield, and easy read from first.
Now the switch hitter Callaspo comes up. Donaldson scored. That's his 80th run scored this year. Callaspo moves back from ball 1. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Callaspo's a .203 hitter as a right-handed batter. Sogard on deck. That's in for a strike, making it 1-1. Kevin Chapman was recalled from Oklahoma City the 15th of August. This is his 3rd stint with the Astros this year. Fly ball hangs for the left fielder, Robbie Grossman. And the A's take the lead with 1 run and 1 hit. They leave 2. It's 1-0 Oakland in the 6th. Quote. We'll be hearing from manager Bo Porter on Chris Carter and Robbie Grossman's hustle in the 8th inning last night.
Let's not forget Robbie Grossman's hustle down the line. And that situation was created because Robbie Grossman busted down the line. And they made the error. We were able to capitalize. But Chris Carter, I tell you what, he's putting together some kind of season.
Now the changes in the outfield. Johnny Gomes has stayed in, but he'll play left field. Josh Reddick, the right fielder, left for the pinch hitter Gomes, and Brandon Moss has switched from left field to right. Robbie Grossman leads it off now in the home 6th inning. And the bullpen is busy for Oakland as he fouls that one from Pomeranz for strike 1. Grossman has walked and he struck out looking. The Athletics have out hit the Astros 4-2. Oakland has left 7. Houston has stranded 3. Breaking pitch comes in for a strike. That makes it 0-2 with right-hander Ryan Cook warming up. The A's have gone 5-10 in their last 15 games. Cook throwing hard in the bullpen. Chopped off the plate. Pomeranz. 1 out. And now it's Altuve coming up.
Well, I'm not sure that Pomeranz has the best stuff the Astros have seen in some while, but the Astros have had general struggles with the bat. And it seems to be going on further here this evening.
Pomeranz had a rough start against them in 2011, giving up 6 straight hits to start the game. He left after 2 innings, giving up 6 runs. And he's 0-1 lifetime against Houston. Altuve 0 for 2 tonight. Bounces it to shortstop Sogard. Ball stays down. He can't make the play. It hit the edge of the grass and did not come up for Sogard. Altuve reaching.
Now that turned the moment into an embarrassing one for Sogard as his feet just got completely out of position. That's where you'll hear the players in dugouts start to make circus music.
Yeah. They'll have some fun with him later on if they win the game. An error on Sogard. That's his 7th of the year. Last night an Oakland error opened the floodgates for Chris Carter to hit a game-winning 3-run homer in the 8th. Carter's 0 for 2 tonight. Fouls it away. There's strike 1.
The Oakland A's are a little bit like Tampa Bay under Joe Madden. Madden will put any player seemingly in any position on the field. And Oakland does that to a little bit of a regard with a guy like Sogard, who I view as just completely a second baseman, and yet sticking him out at shortstop.
Liner into left center field. Altuve looks at third. He's going to go for it. Nope. It's going back as the throw comes in. They would have had him. Sam Fuld made a terrific throw into third base. Altuve forced the throw, but then he stopped. And it was a good idea he did.
I'm not sure Oakland played this defensively the way they should have. The second baseman, Callaspo, was on the third base side of second. They had the shift on. But Callaspo never made a move back to the bag. And that would have really put the heat on Altuve with the throw coming back to the infield.
Now Bob Melvin's walking briskly toward the mound. 82 pitches from Pomeranz, good enough for Bob tonight. Ryan Cook is hot and ready to come in to face switch hitting Dexter Fowler. Pomeranz doing well through 5 1/3 tonight. He's in a position to be the winning pitcher for the 6th time this year. And Cook will help to determine that. When we come back, he'll be facing Fowler right after this. with runners at first and second, 1 out for Houston. And our Honda minor league report shows you a fine game for Mark Appel, his best as a professional player so far. Last night against Frisco in the AA ranks, he pitched 8 innings, giving up just 2 hits, no earned runs, walking 1, fanning 10. He was in the mid to high 90s in that game.
Well, now that's good to see. You start talking 8 innings like that and delivering that kind of velocity, having that kind of success. That's the guy you take 1-1 in the draft, and maybe making some big strides now toward the major leagues.
And the Hooks beat Frisco 1-0 at Whataburger Field last night. Appel threw 88 pitches, 62 for strikes, and his top speed of the night was 98. Ryan Cook takes over now. Dexter Fowler will be the batter. Cook is 1-1. His ERA 2.95. He has 1 save.
Back on Appel, if you can go 95 plus with your velocity and work 8 innings with 88 pitches, that says you're really pitching to the strike zone.
Cook inherits 2 base runners with 1 out. Fowler is 1 for 2. He singled to center field in the 4th. Guzman's on deck. Cook's last outing 3 days ago against the Angels. He pitched a hitless inning. He's given up 4 runs in his last 4 games. They strike 1 to Fowler. Cook went 21 outings from June 27th through August 12th without giving up a run. 20 innings of scoreless ball for Ryan Cook. This is his 200th career appearance. The left-handed hitters are managing a .255 average against him. Quickly, it's 0-2 for Cook.
Well, that's a lot of movement on that pitch at 88.
Cook pitched at Southern Cal. He's from Clovis, California. 27th round pick by Arizona in 08. Fowler flicks it. This Oakland bullpen has had tremendous command this year, averaging 2.4 walks per 9 innings, best in the American League. Fernando Abad, a lefty, is at work in the bullpen. That may be just to advertise in case John Singleton might be used as a pinch hitter. Foul back. Guzman is on deck. But in the 6th inning, a lot of managers will hold off. No, now we do see Singleton coming out. So Bull Porter showing Singleton, and Bob Melvin is showing Abad. It may be just gamesmanship. Fowler's down on strikes.
Well, that stuff of Cook is really tough. His fastball hit 97. He throws that splitter or whatever changeup that is at 88. Huge spread between the two. Looks like a changeup grip as opposed to splitter. But it still has that splitter downward action. That's really tough to cover those 2 pitches.
Singleton is announced as a pinch hitter for Guzman, who was 0 for 2. John at 186 with 12 homers, has 41 runs batted in. He's had 253 at bats this year. As a pinch hitter, he's 0 for 3.
Well, after watching that stuff from the right-hander to Fowler, I would say, as a manager, if I'm in Bob Melvin's shoes, I don't have any concerns about Cook going after any left-hand hitter.
Altuve takes off for 3rd, and he will make it without a play. No attempt to stop him. And it's ball 1.
The stolen bases have slowed down a lot for Altuve as he picks up another one here.
It's number 48 for the AL leader.
Well, you better know that you've got that and that the A's are not going to throw in that scenario.
Singleton looks at it. It's a 1-1 count. The other thing which Bob Melvin would know from looking at statistics is that Singleton is hitting left-handers better than right-handers this year. He has a 160 batting average against right-handed pitching.
That's a great point, and it's a stat that was lost on John Singleton up until the last couple of days when he was spoken to about it.
That one gets by Norris. Altuve comes in, and the game is tied at 1 on a wild pitch. So the steal of third, instrumental in getting the Astros into a tie game.
It appeared to be that changeup. As it dives toward the dirt, Norris was not going down to block. He was coming up to try to pick it. Watch the body come up, and that's just not the way you want to go about it. Of course, now, with the fact that that pitch was inside on Singleton, it makes it doubly tough, but the reaction was to come up rather than to drop.
Second wild pitch of the year by Cook. And it's 2-2 now. Not only did it allow the tying run to score, but the go-ahead run potentially to move into scoring position in Carter. Matt Dominguez on deck. Now 3-2 to Singleton. Singleton has worked several walks this season. Does not seem to be overly aggressive in situations like this. He's drawn 39 walks. That's a pretty good pace for a guy with about a half season of at-bats. That's strike 3, and that ends the 6th inning. The Astros tied with an unearned run. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. After 6, it's tied at 1.
Fans will receive a Nolan and Reed Ryan dual bobblehead courtesy of Houston Methodist on Saturday when the Astros take on the Rangers. Visit Astros.com, and also Astros Badges and Bases presented by the Foundation is a 10 and 5K fun run on September 27th. If you're interested, visit Astros.com/race.
Sounds like a good occasion. Thanks, Layla, for that. It's a 1-1 ball game. Very intriguing game tonight. Kevin Chapman getting set for the 7th inning. Brad Peacock in 5 1/3 allowed 4 hits, 1 run. Walking 5, Fanning 6. Drew Pomeranz in 5 1/3. As you see, Singleton staying in the game at first. Pomeranz 5 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, no earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He threw 82 pitches, 52 for strikes. There is strike 1 to Sogard leading off the 7th. So each club scoring in the 6th inning. The Astros run unearned. The A's have made a couple of costly errors these last 2 games. Fly ball out to right field. Marisnik on the track, 1 out. The A's are a tough team to beat with their pitching. Starters are good. The bullpen is solid. The offense #1 in scoring runs in the American League. And the other thing that makes them tough to beat is that they really perform well at crunch time. They've won 20 times in their final at bat. Coco Crisp is 1 for 3. 11 times they've come from behind to win after trailing from the 6th inning on. Jose Veras is warming up for Houston. It's foul for strike 1. But the Astros turned the tables on him last night by getting that 3-run homer in the 8th to win it 4-2. Bo Porter was agreeing with the fact that the Astros players can take some confidence from some of these wins like the one last night into next year when they go home over the winter and think back. There were very few of those type victories last year for Houston, but this year there have been several.
Never hurts having those thumpers in the heart of the order. If you can project this lineup with Chris Carter continuing to improve.
Drive to left field. This could get up into the seats, and it gives Oakland the 2-1 lead. Coco Crisp with his 9th home run of the year.
Yeah, so I bring up thumpers, and Coco Crisp turns into one. But I was about to say, if you can get Carter, Springer, and Singleton to be those thumpers in the heart of the order, then you've really got a team that can create problems for opposing pitching staffs.
Crisp takes the tour, and Oakland hands the lead back to the bullpen at 2-1 now with 1 out. Sam Fuld will be next. For Chapman, that's his 3rd home run allowed in 13 innings now, and bounces that one at ball 1.
Kept his head right down on it. It's not a long poke to that point.
Crisp came into this game hitting 154 since the All-Star break, going 16 for 104. Paid attendance tonight is 14,791.
Come on, Jeff, you gotta have this guy. Let's go.
Tomorrow night, a brand new series starts with the Texas Rangers here. Battle for the silver boot continues. Christy Miller was telling us the Astros need 2 more wins to clinch the boot.
But she also mentioned that it's been a while, and I think it's about time to start bringing that boot back here and keeping it.
Singleton with nobody there. Crosses late to Chapman, and Fuld works his way on.
You know, this is an area in the infield that's been taken advantage of here a bit lately. I don't know if it's due to scouting reports or if it's just something that's happened in a little spurt. But that little dead spot between pitcher and first baseman has been tough to handle. Kevin Chapman's got to find a way to get off the hill better than that.
Guys who bunt will really study what pitchers do when they fall off the mound like that, won't they, Ash?
Yeah, they do. And that will be in the scouting report when you're facing this pitcher and this one. Don't forget about the bunt on the first base side.
1 single for Fuld. He's 2 for 4 tonight. That prompts a pitching change with Jose Veras coming in from the bullpen. With the score, Oakland 2, Houston 1 in the 7th. He'll step out for this. Veras warming up. Ricky Henderson breaks Lou Brock's 1974 single-season stolen base record. MD Anderson Cancer Center brings you this moment in history, August 27th, 1982. There's the record for the man who said, "I'm the greatest of all time." That was number 118. He finished the season with 130. Still a major league record.
How about that all-time record of his for leadoff home runs in a ball game? Well, he just did everything. And yes, I am the greatest.
He modestly proclaimed.
You heard some modesty in that one, huh? That's good.
And Lou Brock was standing there, so I'm not sure how he took it. Jose Veras in 22 games with the Astros, 2-0 with a 3.10.
I'll tell you how he took it, with class.
Yeah, he is a classy guy. Veras versus Donaldson. Donaldson has been on twice tonight, hit by a pitch and a walk. He scored a run. And fouls it back, strike one. Tigers are leading. No, it's the Yankees 8, the Tigers 3. That's an 8 instead of a 0. The Tigers are batting in the bottom of the ninth. Victor Martinez hit his 26th. He's been running second to Jose Altuve in the batting race.
And he's been hot.
And the guy who's won the last 3 titles, his teammate, Miguel Cabrera, really playing banged up right now. Donaldson moves back from it. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Veras pitched 1 inning Monday night, giving up 2 hits and a run. Came in after Tony Sipp had walked 4 in a row in the 9th inning. And Donaldson hit a breaking pitch for a 2-run single off him.
Boy, that's tough when you've got a pitcher who semi-stops in 3 spots.
Look at this flip to Altuve. And they do it again. Petit and Altuve with a backhanded flip for the 2nd time tonight. With some magic on a 6-4-3. It's 1 run, it's 2 hits, it's nobody left. And it's 2-1 Oakland. From the fellow Venezuelans, Petit and Altuve over to first base. They both involved flips that led Altuve right to the base, Ed.
Right. You make this kind of a backhanded flip. It is so impressive when it works. But if it doesn't work, it can look like you're maybe out of control a bit. But yes, that is extremely impressive from Petit. And Altuve hasn't hurt on the backside.
You know, that last one there, the ball was hit so hard, it caught him back on his heels, Ash. And I think that's why he flipped it the way he did.
You also see, though, how much the margin was for the out at first base. plenty of time to get it done right, but I guess the confidence is there on that backhanded flip.
Looks like they're playing the backfields in Venezuela somewhere. Now bottom of the 7th inning, 2-1. Oakland. Matt Dominguez 0 for 2, 2 punch outs. And the slider from Ryan Cook, ball 1. Cook has pitched 5 times against the Astros without giving up a run to them this year.
That's the thing, Brownie. Sorry about that. That it is a lot easier on the backfield. You can laugh and smile and have all the fun you want. In the big league ball game, you've got to make sure you get it done right, and twice Petit has tonight.
He looks very relaxed. That one was up around the shoulder of Domingo. It's 2-0 to Matt. Bullpen busy for Oakland. Oh, that one drilled him on the left shoulder. So twice in a row, Cook let balls get away from him up and in on Dominguez.
You can rest assured that was not intentional by Cook.
Nope, not in a one-run ball game.
Didn't make it hurt any less for Matt Dominguez.
Well, control is a big part of Ryan Cook's game, but tonight he has thrown only his 2nd wild pitch of the year and hit only his 2nd batter of the year. Kurt Young, the pitching coach, goes out. And Marisnick is 0 for 2. I wonder if he might be bunting here down by a run.
I think it's within the realm of possibility. Although he's swung the bat well for the club. He's started to scuffle a bit in the last couple of days.
Donaldson's even with a bag at 3rd. Corcoran on deck. That's strike 1 to Marisnick, who is struck out and fly to right.
With no bunt on and no hit and run on, that may not have been a bad pitch to go after, though. That first pitch fastball.
Well, especially after Cook had gone 2-0 and then drilled Dominguez. Now it's a 1-1 strike count. Cook last year had 23 holds, so he fits very nicely into this part of a ball game when he's pitching well, and usually he is.
Stuff is very good.
Cook spent some time on the DL with a strained forearm. He was on a USC team with Tommy Malone and Ian Kennedy. That one's up and in. 2-1.
Ball's getting away a little early on Cook, who's not finishing some of these heaters.
Right-handed hitters are hitting a measly 144 against Cook. Two and 2 to Marisnick.
Almost the same pitch. Yep. Just running up and in. There's a self-conversation going on right there for Cook, trying to figure out how to get that thing back in his spot.
Marisnick trying to be the straw that stirs the drink for the Astros here in this inning.
Ooh, nice, Reggie.
Strike 3 call.
Well, I don't blame Jake right there. That pitch was away. And it hasn't been called a strike throughout the night.
3rd punch out for Cook.
It's the reach outside of the plate and then bringing it back. And it's not the bring back that fools the umpires. People that think pulling pitches really makes umpires call the pitch. It's just a tendency to give that outside corner.
Paul Emmel rings it up. Marisnick says that's off the plate. Carlos Corcoran's 0 for 2. Petit on deck. It's foul for strike one. Corcoran's been playing for some time now with a banged up right hand. Pretty puffy. He has some tape on his bat that separates his hands so he won't put pressure on the right hand. The left hand on top of it. Fouls it back. 0-2, as you well know. As for a baseball player, boy, the hands are everything when hitting, but you go through the grind of the season, especially a catcher taking foul balls off the hands, all kinds of things can happen, and by this time of the year, a lot of players are pretty well beaten up.
For a lot of catchers, it's the left thumb. You get that sinker or the slider that'll beat you up, and it makes it awfully tough, number one, to catch, but with the bat, it's really rough. But there are some catchers who do take it on the fingers as well on that left hand.
Out to right center field. That's in for a hit. Dominguez heads for third base. Pat Listash will hold him there, and it's a single for Corcoran on the 0-2 pitch. First and third one out for the Astros. A big hit for Corcoran.
Just a little short, handsy kind of a stroke from Carlos. Simply gets barrel to ball. That's about as simplistic as you can make hitting. Beautifully done. Watch how short this swing is. No windup, no huge follow through.
That's great work with 2 strikes in the count. Now Bob Melvin comes out. Marwin Gonzalez has come out to the on-deck circle. Petit is scheduled up next. He's not been announced yet. But Melvin has already decided upon a move. He's had warm-up action going in his bullpen. Earlier was Fernando Abad working. And the Oakland bullpen continues with pitcher number 3 of the night coming in right after this.
Astros 2-1. We love high school football as much as you. All this week, our high school series Road to State highlights the top talented teams in the greater Houston area. Catch Sportsnet Central's Road to State tonight at 10 and midnight, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Want to let you know about another high school game we've got going on. It is the first week of school after all, and that makes 0 week in the city of Houston and the state of Texas. And then on CSN Plus tomorrow at 7 o'clock, Galveston Ball takes on Lamarck. It is the first game of our high school series. We've got Thursday night games all season on CSN, so if you're interested, check out our CSN Plus channel, and that's where you will see our high school game.
Thanks, Layla. Fernando Abad, former Astro lefty reliever, comes in. In 58 games, he's 2-4 for Oakland with a 1.59 ERA. A whip of 0.78, allowing just 27 hits in 51 innings. And And here's the real stat on him that comes into play. Taking over with runners at first and third and 1 out. He has inherited 26 base runners this year, and none have scored.
Those are just phenomenal numbers. And he's had a few days to rest right now. Does that make him stronger, or maybe needing to find a little sharpness?
Pinch hitter for the Astros is Marwin Gonzalez, pinch hitting for Petit, who was 1 for 2. Marwin is hitting .314 as a right-handed batter, .266 overall, 6 homers, 20 runs batted in. Marwin's had a very good series. He takes ball 1. Of course, he's been mostly the everyday shortstop for a few months now. He started more games right now than Jonathan Villar did when he was here. Matt Dominguez, the runner at third. And it's Carlos Corcoran at first with 1 out. Marwin's 4 for 7 in this series. And there's the toss over to first. 2 below average runners in terms of their speed on for the Astros here. Gonzalez had 3 for 4 Monday night against Oakland, including a pair of doubles. Bod steps back. This Oakland bullpen has won 22 and lost 16 with a 2.83 ERA. Both clubs have had saves from 6 different pitchers this year. That foul ball makes it 1-1. The Astros have been a woeful team pinch hitting. 123 is their pinch hit batting average. 7 for 57. Marwin is 1 for 6 with 2 runs batted in. Yankees have now closed out the Tigers 8-4 in Detroit. Beating David Price is now 12-10. Foul tip makes it 1-2 now.
Marwin got a pitch to hit right there. He got that fastball straight as could be, right in a favorable hitting spot. That's where this pitch is. Maybe working toward the inside corner, but right where Marwin could get the head to it.
Awfully big pitch coming in this game, with Marwin needing contact to get the runner home from third. Robbie Grossman on deck. And he strikes out. 2 outs.
A filthy looking breaking ball. Hard to call it a slider or a curveball, almost in between, but at 79 miles an hour, I would lean toward curveball.
That's the 11th time the Astros have whiffed in this game. Robbie Grossman will try for a 2-out pick-me-up. He's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Astros struck out 10 times Monday night. Jeff Samardzija doing the work in 8 innings.
The Astros continue to be a good long ball hitting team. And they've had their spells where they've been really good as a club offensively, but throughout all of it, they have struck out far too often.
0-1 to Grossman. The 0 for 2 with a walk. They have struck out almost 1,200 times this year. Dan Otero's warming up for Oakland. One ball, 1 strike.
And Brownie, when you say that, pushing toward 1,200 on the year, they are in last place, most strikeouts offensively. Strikeouts are a bigger part of the game than they were at some time years ago. But the Astros, back-to-back years now, leading the league in strikeouts.
It's 2-1. Well, they're 10th in runs scored. They've had a better month of August than they had been producing. They're averaging 4.3 runs per game in August, and they're 12-12. Foul back. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A lot of it for me comes back to that kind of pitch, and the one that I mentioned on Marwin, where you get a fastball in a nice hittable spot. It's painful as a hitter when you swing through it or foul it back.
Now it's 3-2. Robbie Grossman has worked the count full for the second time tonight. A's have out hit the Astros 6-4. Abad signed as a free agent with the Astros in 2002. Broken bat flare to right field. That'll loop in for a hit and tie the game at 2. Dominguez scores. Here's the throw to third. Corcoran is safe. And the ball gets away briefly from Donaldson. So the Astros ride the bat of Grossman. He's bent over at first base there. He may be hurting. It looks as if he's going to get some attention right now after tying this game with his 31st run batted in.
Don't know how to figure what might have happened there to Robbie. Boy, but break me a bat and come up with a big swing. There's a case of not having speed on the bases, and yet it doesn't cost the team. Oh, there's what happened.
Yeah, turned his ankle after stepping on first.
You take your eyes away from the bag and just to get around the bag, and suddenly you flip the ankle over.
He's staying in the game. Rex Jones and Bo Porter went out. Robbie will not leave. It'll be Altuve batting, and now Bob Melvin will make another trip out. Abad was oh so close to getting out of it, but for the first time all year he's allowed an inherited runner to score. He'd inherited 26, and if he didn't inherit another runner all year and nobody scored, that would have been a major league record. But now for the first time a team has broken through against the former Astro. And another key late inning hit for the Astros against the Oakland bullpen brings a tie score at 2. We'll be right back. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Down Pound, Houston, the scene of the deciding game of this series. And the deciding game is tied at 2. Bottom of the 7th, 2 outs, runners at first and third. Jose Altuve, the batter. And in the game, Dan Otero, who's pitched 57 times this year.
And like Abad, he's had a few days off as he comes in for this one. He's gone 5 consecutive games without being scored upon. And like so many Oakland pitchers, very good numbers over the course of the year.
Altuve hitless tonight, reached on an error, scored a run, stole a base. And goes for that one for strike 1. He was up on his toes for that swing.
Now, Jose's not in one of his hot spells right now.
Otero, with those 7 wins, has been rewarded by some late inning offense, and he's done his job. That's called a strike, and that's 0-2. He came back from Sacramento on Sunday for his second stint with the A's. Well, that's a generous strike call.
Yes, it is. And Astros hitters have seen a couple of these. The other one, Marisnik, here in the inning.
But there are limits to Paul Himmel's generosity, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chris Carter's on deck. Now 2-2 to Altuve. Astros have not had many at-bats in this entire series with runners in scoring position. Now 3-2.
3 consecutive efforts off that outside edge. Just seeing after they get a couple of strikes if they can get Altuve to take a weak swing out there.
3-2, 2 outs. Robbie Grossman not being held on at first, ready to go. And it's a line drive over first base, headed for the right field line. Coming over, it's a foul ball as Moss tried to make the play.
Ball starts in the air and sure looks like it might have had a chance.
Good battle here between Otero and Altuve. Otero, 29 years old, from Miami, Florida, went to Duke and the University of South Florida. Altuve with a grounder. That's a base hit on through to give the Astros the lead, 3-2. Past the diving Callasco, the ball gets loose, but no further advance. And Altuve, with his 181st hit of the year, drives in his 44th run. The Astros grab their first lead.
I said Altuve wasn't in a hot spell. He's got a 5-game hitting streak right now, but that's just 6 hits in that 5-game span. But this one, a big one. And so close to being knocked down there by the second baseman.
It looked as if he would be able to do that. Like he got some leather on it, but it went on through, and Corcoran scores the go-ahead run. That charges Ryan Cook with 2 runs in his 1 inning on 1 hit. And the Astros have their first lead, and after the mound visit by Kurt Young, it's Altuve at first, Grossman at third, and the big guy, Chris Carter, batting.
Well, that visit had to be some kind of message about how to go after Carter. But I can't imagine what you're going to come up with now that you didn't talk about before the game.
Carter's 1 for 3. And the throw goes over to third. Interesting.
Can't make that bluff toward third and throw back to first anymore.
Why would you throw to third in this situation?
Not really sure unless you're saying please anything but having to throw Carter a pitch.
He grounds it foul. That is understandable the way he swung the bat in the month of August. 12 of his homers have come from the 7th inning on. The most recent one, his 3-run shot in the 8th last night. And this former Oakland A has really blossomed as an Astro. Inside for a ball, and it's 1-1. Luke Gregerson threw him what was intended to be a sinker last night when he hit the home run. Trying to get the ground ball on Carter.
Sunk pretty nicely once it hit that light tower in left field.
Ooh. Massive power display. 1-2. Each club has 6 hits. The Astros leading by 1, looking for more for the bullpen going to the 8th. Altuve draws the throw. Astros in that position to affect the pennant race in the AL West. They'll have 2 series remaining with the Angels. They'll have another trip to Oakland. A couple series left for Seattle. There goes Altuve. The pitch almost hits Carter. It's 2-2 as Altuve gets another steal. He's 49. So 1 away from the 50 steal club.
Well, you mentioned that the A's catching has thrown out very few runners this year, and it appears that Bob Melvin has just conceded at times to the running game.
It certainly does. Carter checks his swing. That pitch was in tight. It's 3-2. Now with first base open, we'll see what happens. Fowler on deck. And Carter is down on strikes. But the Astros grab the lead with 2 in the 7th inning on 3 hits. They strand 2, and they're up now. Going to the 8th, 3-2.
As we head to the top of the 8th. Earlier on, we asked y'all on Twitter which Astro you think would be the best football player and at what position. JD White Mamba tweeted, I'd personally draft Fultonevich as a QB. 6'4", 220 pounds, with a laser rocket of an arm. Sounds a lot like Peyton Manning to me. Harry Kleinman tweets, Altuve at running back. He could hide behind the offensive line, then he could go all the way. Just so many good athletes, all-around athletes on this Astros team. Thank you very much for tweeting me at HoChenCSN. Guys?
That was well done, Howard.
Thank you.
Mike Fultonevich in the bullpen. 3-2 the Astros lead. Jose Veras got the big double play ball on Donaldson to end the A's 7th inning. Now it's Stephen Vogt. Vogt is 0 for 3. Veras could be the winning pitcher. He deals strike one.
That was Ho-Ko on that call.
Was it?
Howard Cosell.
Yeah. Marlon Gonzalez at shortstop after pinch hitting for Petit. Altuve's in shallow right field. That's hit in the air toward the stands. 0-2 to Vogt. Converted catcher. This is quite a battle tonight. Jesse Chavez warming up for Oakland. Struck him out looking, and Vogt is out number 1.
Well, he clearly wasn't looking for that breaking ball right there. Not in a bad spot to be able to hammer, but when you're looking fastball, just cannot pull the trigger on that pitch.
Veras, the former Astro closer, moves along and faces Brandon Moss. Moss has a double and a walk tonight in 3 trips. Strike one of the slugger.
Pretty effective change or splitter.
It's a good time to break that out, isn't it, on a guy like Moss who can drive the ball a long way. And he chased that one.
There it is again. You get a guy that has that tendency to take the big swing, looking for the fastball. Perfect spot for any form of changeup.
Would you like to follow that with a fastball up?
Well, if you do come fastball, you want to likely come in, although there go the Astros away, trying to come off the outside corner. But they do it with well, I guess that is a fastball at 91. It came out of the hand upward and didn't look like a typical fastball.
1-2.
Yeah, you'll try to get tricky and think, okay, great spot for a fastball, and you want it in this location, and sure enough, it'll wind up right in the hitter's zone.
2-2 now. A lot of these Oakland hitters will do what Moss is doing here, fall behind in the count, but not expand their zone, work their way back into the count.
Yeah, they're an intriguing bunch because not just this year. For recent seasons, they don't hit for a high batting average, but they do come up with some big swings.
And there's one of them, but it gets nothing but air for out number 2. 2 punch outs for Veras.
There's that grip. The changeup.
Quite an outing so far for Jose. A double play ball and 2 strikeouts. And now it's Derek Norris. Norris has struck out twice and walked. Oakland has drawn 5 walks. The A's lead the American League in walks. They've hit only .229 in the month of August. Ball 1 to Norris. I would think the worst thing that would go through Bob Melvin's mind as an outcome of this game tonight is A, a loss, and B, a long game requiring several different relievers to work before that Angel series.
They're well on their way to the B portion of that description right there. Long games are kind of a way of baseball right now, number 1, and a lot of pitchers get used.
2-0, and as you and Dirk were talking about it last night, Dallas Keuchel went 7, Jason Hamill went 7. That is really important in today's game in American League Baseball. If that starter can go more than 6, there's the way it looks in the AL West.
It seems, though, that a lot of managers have conceded to about 6 innings.
They have.
And I'm not sure why they've allowed that to be the expectation. You know, we've talked many times about Larry Dierker, and one of the things I thought he did for the Astros in his managing days was extend starting pitchers. And I thought it not only helped the bullpen enormously, but I thought it helped the starting staff in a way that was very easy to quantify.
We saw evidence of it. Popped up. Singleton. For the 3rd out, it was a 3-0 pitch, and Norris couldn't do anything with it. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 3-2 Houston.
Lead the A's 3-2, and if you've seen these shirts swarming around the Astros clubhouse in the past few days, they say save Raylan. Raylan is a family friend of Chad Qualls. Her name's Raylan Cutbirth. She is 4 years old, and she is suffering from a very rare cancer called rhabdomyosarcoma. Qualls is raising awareness for her. Her story is on the Astros blog Mission Control, and they're raising awareness to help her and her family with her care. She has been released to hospice care. Our thoughts are with her, and if you would like to know more about her story, what rhabdomyosarcoma is, which is a cancer that affects the soft tissues, and also how to donate to her cause, visit the Astros blog. It is part of the MLB Blogs Network. Great cause and a great way for Chad Qualls to help raise awareness for this very rare disease.
Thanks, Layla. Dexter Fowler leads it off here, bottom of the 8th inning. There's ball 1. And the Astros and A's each have 6 hits. It's been a back-and-forth type of game, with Oakland scoring in the 6th and Houston tying it with a run in the 6th. Oakland got 1 in the 7th, Houston 2 in the 7th. That's fielded by T. Brock, Derek Brock, first base coach. The count goes to 1-1.
Nice on Chad Qualls and his wife with that story from Layla.
Very nice.
Go T.
Fowler swings, and it's 1-2.
Derek Brock, a very class individual.
He's really helped a lot with the outfielders this year. Pat Listash works with the infielders and the base runners. Coaches all have their different duties. 2 balls, 2 strikes to cover various areas of the team. Greg Bjornson in the bullpen. Of course, Brent Strom and the hitting coaches. That's bounce foul. And T. Brock gets another opportunity there. Ralph Dickinson and John Maley preside over the hitters. Dave Tremblay, the bench coach. hard-working group. This club that won 51 games a year ago has 56 wins right now. Fowler takes ball 3, and it's a full count. And with Fowler coming back a while ago, it's really helped the offense. And the Astros hoping to regain the services of George Springer soon. It won't be until September 1st when rosters can be expanded. It's a line shot into right center field. Fowler's 2 for 4. Interesting. You know, we've talked about this since he's returned in this cleanup spot. But, you know, a cleanup hitter sometimes, as he does here, leads off an inning. Well, he's very good at leading off an inning, among the best.
Yeah, you know, you don't think of Dexter as a cleanup guy. I don't. But I also think of him as a guy who steals a lot of bags, but he doesn't. But what he's turned into is a guy that's been a part of a lot of wins. When he has been in the lineup, the Astros have been a better ball club.
He is 6th in on-base percentage in the league. He's aboard for Singleton. Singleton struck out looking. There's strike 1 to John. He pinch hit in the 6th inning for Jesus Guzman. The key hit in this game provided by Robbie Grossman on a 3-2 pitch in the 7th inning with 2 outs. He created the tie, and then Jose Altuve gave the Astros the lead. 1-1. Matt Dominguez on deck. With Qualls warming up in the bullpen and the A's due to send up their 7, 8, 9 hitters in the 9th, the Astros try for insurance runs for Qualls here. It's 2-1.
Brownie, the Astros start play today 21 games under 500. When Dexter Fowler has started, they are 10 games under 500. So, though he's been on the DL for a good while, and you could probably expand those numbers a little bit, you can see that he's, for the good part, been in winning lineups.
Yes, he has. 3-1. Bo Porter is going to have a pleasant dilemma when he gets all of his outfielders back, and he's hoping to get Alex Presley back as well in September, who doesn't play.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. But you know that George Springer is going to play and Dexter is going to play. It appears that Marisnik is the 3rd guy.
That's ball 4, and now the Astros have 2 men on with nobody out, and Dominguez coming out. How do you sit Grossman night after night?
Again, it's really going to be a challenge. And is Robbie cut out to be a 4th outfielder? A guy that can be utilized in various roles, maybe even needed as a pinch runner late in the ball game. I'm not sure how that sets up for Robbie.
Maybe it's a job share in left field between Marisnik and Grossman.
Certainly could be, and you could utilize Robbie as the left-handed hitter and Marisnik against the left-hand pitching.
Corner infielders in tight for Domingo, and he's showing bunt as the play might have gone to second base.
And then project into the future if Domingo Santana becomes the player that a lot of people have felt he might become.
Quite true. No sacrifice bunts for Matt Dominguez this season. There's a good one. And he gets his first. Well, a slumping Matt Dominguez is called on, and he does execute his first sacrifice bunt of 2014, getting Fowler to 3rd and Singleton to 2nd.
Guy who had 21 bombs last year. People were looking for him to hit 25 or so this year. It has not played out that way. And so when you struggle, you're called on to do something else, and he comes through.
Now 2 men in scoring position for Marisnik, who's 0 for 3. And first base open. An intentional walk is being ordered to bring up Carlos Corcoran with the bases loaded. Interesting, because percentages will be in the Astros' favor unless a new pitcher comes in. But even at that, they won't, because they're both switch hitters. Nonetheless, it sets up a double play possibility on a ground ball, a force at any base for Bob Melvin. The bases loaded, 1 out. Corcoran is 1 for 6 with the bases loaded. Melvin's out.
This is one of those messages to the entire crew in the infield, not so much to the pitcher, but here's what we're going to do. And they may even have numbered plays laid out, but he wants to make sure he gives that infield exactly the message he wants.
Corcoran has 2 sacrifice flies this season. Usually hitters in this situation talk about trying to drive the ball deep enough in the air, and will try to get a pitch up so they can do that. Infielders move in pretty tight. They can certainly get a double play from where they are. But they'll come home if they don't have time for a 6-4-3 type double play. 5-4-3 would be pretty tough the way they are right now. There's strike 1 to Corcoran. But they will have some extra time with Carlos running. Oh, 2.
Good looking change.
Now this extra run could really be important for the Astros. Qualls warming up for the 9th. In tied for a ball, 1-2. This would be a series the Astros could be proud of if they can win this game tonight to take 2 of 3 from the A's. Foul back, and it's still a ball and 2 strikes to Corcoran. And a strikeout. Otero gets out number 2. It's his second punch out.
Watch this thing dive. That's what that likely splitter. Couldn't see the grip there, but that form of a change, just diving, and already had Corp out in front.
2 outs with the bases loaded. Marwin Gonzalez bats. He struck out as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. Otero is pitching against the Astros for the 9th time this year. Strike 1. He's given up 2 homers to Houston hitters this season. Altuve and Dominguez both here in this ballpark. He's pitcher number 4 tonight for Oakland. It's 0-2. Robbie Grossman's on deck. And another strikeout, and Otero gets out of it. So the strategy really works for Bob Melvin. He loads the bases, Marisnick getting the walk, and then 2 punch outs and a scoreless 8th inning, 3-2 Astros. ninth inning against the Athletics, and they call in their closer, Chad Qualls. He saved the 4-2 win last night, save number 15 of the year for Chad. He's 15 for 18 in saves, a 1-3 record, and ERA of 3.00.
Right at about a hit an inning over the course of the year. He's balanced it fairly well. Left-hand hitters having the advantage against him. And he's held it to 4 home runs on the year. Chad has done, along with Tony Sipp, a very nice job at the back end of the bullpen.
He has run into tough sledding when facing the Oakland A's this season, although last night went very well in 1-2-3 fashion. And now it'll be Gomes to lead it off, then Callaspo and Sogard are due up as the 7, 8, 9 hitters come to the plate in the ninth inning for Oakland. Jose Veras worked to 4 men. He got 5 outs. Johnny Gomes, 237, 6 homers, 37 runs batted in. Pinch hit in the 6th inning for Josh Reddick, delivered a sacrifice fly to give Oakland a 1-0 lead at that time. That's in for a strike on a breaking pitch from Qualls. The stories have been circling around about Chad Qualls having been claimed on waivers by Detroit on Monday, and as the stories went, the two teams had until noon today to work out a deal, which did not happen, obviously. 0-2.
And one of the big aspects of the story that Chad Qualls preferred to stay in Houston.
He said when he signed here as a free agent, it was with the idea of coming back to his original club, the Astros, staying with them. He hopes until the end of his career, until they get to be a contending club again. His family lives in Austin. Everything's very convenient for him. Got to see his son go off to kindergarten the other day for the first day of school, and that was meaningful. 1-2. Chad took a loss here on July 29th, giving up 5 runs in the 9th inning. Flared to left field. That will be off the fists and dropping in for a single. And Gomes is on to start the 9th inning. The Qualls for the season is 0-2 with an ERA of 21.60 and 2 saves against the A's. Now a pinch runner goes in. Craig Gentry is the pinch runner for Gomes.
That means very good speed at first to start the inning. Total bust up in on the hands right here, and yet the base hit. Very frustrating game.
Callaspo's the batter. Gentry the runner. Callaspo 0 for 2 with a walk. Each club with 7 hits now. Runners going. The throw bounces. Here's the play. Safe. Marwin Gonzalez picked it. He thought he had the tag down in time on Gentry, but Gentry's safe at second. And now Bo Porter's going to come out and buy some time to get word from his video staff on whether he should challenge that call by Mike DeMuro.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to go that way. Close as this play was, having not seen any replay to this point, I'm not sure there's going to be any evidence to the contrary. Let's get our good peek. That one hop throw comes in. Marwin does a great job. Can you definitively say that there's an out there?
The ball is coming off the field, and the umpires are going over to get on the headsets with New York. So it is a replay challenge.
But this would be the umpire's call, right? Umpires checking themselves. That's going to be a very difficult one. And as close as you want to take that down to by the frame, there may be an out to call there.
It's a replay review, so Bo has initiated this, I believe, Ash.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to get overturned.
Doesn't look that way.
Terrific job by Marwin. I mean, he settled in and did everything he could to make the play. But you see the reach as opposed to dropping it right in front of the bag. what a difference that can make?
Yes, it can.
If you just stay away from that reach, you've got so much better shot.
Stolen base for Gentry. He went over to talk with Ty Waller, his first stagecoach, about something. He's at second now with Callaspo at the plate and an 0-1 count. And nobody out.
This is no place to allow a stolen base.
It's 1-1.
Get that third baseman drawn in away from the bag, and attention being focused on the hitter, and might be an easy shot at some point for Gentry.
That was Gentry's 20th steal in 21 attempts this year. That chopper goes foul. 1-2 to Callaspo. That challenge took 1 minute 16 seconds. And he took off on the first pitch, which gives Callaspo a chance to advance him in this at bat. Pull to the first. Singleton, as the runner advances, takes care of out number one. So Oakland's playing some textbook baseball here. Single, pinch runner, steal, ground ball to the right side. It's a potential tying run to third with one out.
And Callaspo, you can see on both swings there, barrel flipping forward. And all he wanted to do was hit it to the right side. On the ground, in the air, one way or another, it's got to go that direction.
Now the infielders come in, and Sogard's the batter. Sogard 0 for 2 with a walk. He's hit the ball in the air both times he's hit it.
This may maybe go on contact for a guy like Gentry with that good speed at third.
And strike one.
So if you get a ground ball to the infield, you better be heads up coming to the plate, because I think Gentry's going to challenge.
And Qualls does get a lot of ground balls. Lefty Eric O'Flaherty warming up for the A's. Qualls has 2 saves against the A's and 2 blown saves this year.
Also have to be aware of some form of a squeeze here.
It's 1-1. Statistically, it's been a very good year for Chad Qualls, with only 5 walks in 45 innings and 39 strikeouts. That will get down into left center field and tie the game. Sogard with a looping single, and it's 3-3 here in the ninth.
Well, another hit in the inning that's hit very softly. That first hit to get it started by Johnny Gomes, just a bat buster. And now a key swing for Sogard. Right off the end of the bat.
Now Coco Crisp will be the batter. He has an infield single and a homer. Number 9 hitter ties the game. Hit number 8 for Oakland. Strike to Crisp. Now the Astros will have the top of the order due up in the last of the ninth inning. Grossman, Altuve, and Carter. Lefty O'Flaherty warming up. Ground ball. Singleton snags it. Gets it on to the shortstop, Marlon Gonzalez. 2 outs. Good play by Singleton.
John has been faced with a number of these plays. Your only play as a first baseman there is heading into second. John makes it nicely. This is going to set up a running game with Coco Crisp, you would think.
16 steals in 20 tries. Sam Fold is the batter. Fold 2 for 4. His 7th inning hit was a bunt single. And there's ball 1. Crisp took off and then he stopped.
Second time tonight that Crisp has just taken off early. He's one of those timing stealers.
Drive deep to right field. Looks like a two-run homer for the A's. Marisnick goes up. That is out. A two-run home run for Sam Fuld. And Fuld gets his third straight hit in this game. Third home run of the year for Sam Fuld. And what a big one. Oakland takes the lead 5-3.
When the Oakland A's picked up Sam Fuld over the course of this season, it didn't look like much of a deal. Just maybe a guy that would fill in a little bit, but done a very nice job for their club. It's not where you anticipate the power game coming from.
Well, the A's lead it by 2 now, and it's Donaldson batting. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. He was hit by a pitch. Strike. Rough year for Qualls against the Oakland Athletics. He's now given up 11 earned runs in 4 innings. Bounce to the right side, and Altuve can't get there. Tried the sliding play. The ball gets through into right field. Donaldson with a bouncing hit. That's the 4th hit of the inning. And Bo Porter will make a change here. Qualls has thrown 17 pitches. Tough night for Chad. His 4th blown save of the year and his 19th save opportunity. And it'll be Mike Foltynewicz coming in with the score. Oakland 5, Houston 3 in the 9th. In the 9th inning, after the Astros had grabbed the lead with 2 in the 7th inning, they failed to score to get those insurance runs in the 8th. They left the bases loaded, and now Sam Fuld has provided the lead with his 2-run shot here in the 9th, snapping a 3-3 tie.
Just the 9th career home run in the major leagues for Sam Fuld, and it comes at a huge moment, as you can tell, for these Oakland A's. In the dugout, it really shows.
Right there. Come on.
10 hits now for Oakland. And Mike Foltynewicz takes the ball to face Stephen Vogt here in the 9th inning. Vogt is 0 for 4. Foltynewicz worked Sunday at Cleveland, 1 1/3 innings. And he struck out 4 to get those 4 outs. High octane fastball, strike 1 at 96. His ERA is 5.79, but he is impressed with how hard he's thrown it. Struck out 10 in 9 1/3. He's 22 years old. First round pick in 2010. 1-1. But he said his changeup is very important to him. Help him with that fastball. One of 7 players who have made their major league debuts with the Astros this year. 2-1. At Oklahoma City, where he was a starter, he struck out 102 in 102 2/3 innings.
That's not actually as high a figure of strikeouts as I might have anticipated.
Yeah, considering that he can hit it into triple digits, and we've seen him do that several times.
You might anticipate with the type of arm that Fulte has, 100 innings, maybe 130, 140 strikeouts.
Third really tough night this season for Chad Qualls against the Oakland club. And now a walk to Vogt continues the inning with Moss coming up. Qualls so far has been charged with 3 runs. Gave up 3 runs at Oakland in 1/3 of an inning, April 19th, in a blown save and loss. Gave up 5 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning here against Oakland, July 29th, in a blown save and a loss. Norris is on deck with Moss batting, and it's ball 1. Oakland sending its 8th man to the plate here in the 9th. This could be the 21st win for the A's in their final at bat this year. They lead the American League in that department. 2-0. They have won 6 times when they trailed after 8. Now Corcoran goes out. We've been guessing about September call-ups. Everybody does this time of year. Only 4 days away from the end of August. The Astros do have some more candidates, of course, at AAA Oklahoma City, who are pitching well in the starting rotation. Fultonevich converted to reliever at this point of the season. But there are some other guys like Asher Wojciechowski, who had been hurt for much of this season. He's pitching well as a starter. Alex White is in that department. And he's missed a lot of time this year, but assistant athletic trainer Rex Jones reminded me tonight, Ash, that both those guys have had a lot of rehab time this year, and that factors in with the trainers as far as their usage this year, the number of bullpens they've thrown. All that goes into the mix when considering how many more innings to put on those guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, does that free up some innings in the month of September that maybe some of the guys that are here on the roster currently might not be able to pitch?
Yeah, that's all in the mix. You're right. There's a lot to consider. 2-2. And the other thing is that the Red Hawks now at Oklahoma City have now worked their way into first place. And so it appears they will be headed to the playoffs. And that means sometimes these September call-ups really aren't made until after that AAA season is over. Sometimes they are made.
Success throws a wrench in the plans.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Moss. Red Hawks are now 73 66. They beat Albuquerque last night 13-6. A lot of guys have had interesting seasons. We would expect probably Domingo Santana, Jonathan Villar to return. There will be another catcher. There always is in a September call-up. There it's going, and Moss checks his swing. It's ball 4. Now the bases are loaded, and the A's are batting around here in the 9th.
Yeah, Max Stassi could be that catcher, a guy who's had a disappointing year, quite frankly. That's close out there at the front edge of the plate.
Now bases loaded for Norris. Norris 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. Five 10-1 for Oakland, 3-7-0 for Houston. That strike 1 call. Broken bat hit by Gomes started all the trouble here in the 9th inning. Then after Callaspo grounded him over to third, the pinch runner Gentry, who had stolen second. Sogard got a looping hit to tie it. 2-run homer by Fold. Now foul ball, 0-2, and the A's can do this. They can turn over a lineup with their late inning at bats, with their patience. Bob Melvin has seen this happen many times. Last year his club won 96 games. They're trying to win this AL West for the 3rd year in a row. That was really close, but Paul Emmel called it ball 1.
Certainly out there in a range that a couple of Astros hitters saw called strikes. Likely off the corner, but right in that same spot.
2-2.
Foltynewicz is really feeling with that changeup. And as we've talked about many times, you've got to get a grip you trust and throw it as hard as you can. Let that grip take the speed off.
He gets a swing and a miss and strikes out Norris. The A's batter out of the 9th inning. They score 3 times and they lead it 5-3. To 3. They've made changes now. There's skipper Bob Melvin moving the chess pieces around. Brandon Moss started in left. He had moved to right. Now he's back in left. Craig Gentry, that's Sam Fold there. And Fold, one of the outfielders as well. He's in right field. Andy Perino, the shortstop. Gentry has stayed in to play center. Eric Sogard has moved from shortstop to second. Andy Perino, as you mentioned, already at shortstop, and those are the changes. So, boy, these late inning moves by Bob Melvin. He has a lot of players who can play multiple positions, and he does take advantage of that. Eric O'Flaherty, 1-0 with a 1.26 ERA, has a whip below 1, and with the closer Sean Doolittle on the disabled list right now, O'Flaherty seems to be that guy who's taking over, even though Bob Melvin did not want to name him as the closer.
And take note that the right-hand hitters are hitting just 133 against the lefty. So something special is going on there with the changeup.
And something special might be going on in the save column tonight for Eric O'Flaherty, who doesn't have one in his career. It's Robbie Grossman. Grossman has an RBI single. He's 1 for 3 with a walk. And takes there, ball 1. The winning pitcher could be Dan Otero, who in 1 1/3 innings allowed 2 hits, no runs, walking 2, fanning 3, struck out Corcoran and Gonzalez with the bases loaded in the 8th. And if he does get the win, he takes over the lead. Otero would have 8 wins to top the leaderboard in the American League for relief pitchers. That's a liner over shortstop into left center field. The Astros get a leadoff single from Grossman, and Robbie has 2 of those. One in the 7th, one here in the 9th. Good late inning work by Robbie Grossman tonight. He's on for the 3rd time.
Also nice to see with Robbie is that turned over ankle apparently not bothering him.
He probably got it taped. Jose Altuve singled in the 7th inning run. He's 1 for 4. Chris Carter on deck. Bouncer to 3rd, Donaldson to 2nd, and here's Sogard. Out is the call at first. Here's Bo Porter coming right out. And if that stands, it's a 5-4-3 double play.
Very well turned. And Donaldson, for me, sets this up with the velocity he puts on the throw. That gets it in the hands of the second baseman as quickly as possible, who turns it nicely.
Now, Bo has already used his challenge and lost. And it appears they got the call right.
Yeah, it looked that way initially, too, for me.
It seems that he was prevailing on Toby Bassner to make sure of his call.
Again, look at Donaldson put some zip on it, and that gives Sogard the chance to get it on to first base.
So if we're reading this properly, the earlier challenge was his only challenge of the night because he lost it. Now, in this case, the umpires are going to go ahead and check with New York because of the implications of this pennant race, Ash, just to make sure they got it right. But I don't think they're required to do this right now.
Yeah, and I was wondering initially if the other one was an umpire's effort to take a look at it. But you're probably right here. But I applaud the umpires, making sure that with the importance of a game like this, that they do get it right.
Well, it was a quick one, and they're not reversing. So now 1 out remaining for the Astros, and it's Chris Carter with a 2-run lead. Donaldson started that 5-4-3 double play on Altuve. And the A's 1 out away from winning their 78th of the year. And O'Flaherty 1 out away from his first major league save. Coming into this season, he was 0 for 12 in save opportunities. Carter 1 for 4, hits a fly ball to right and deep. And all the way back, Chris Carter's done it again. 3 homers in 3 games for Carter. That's 33 for the season. And another late inning blast continues the trend for Carter. That's 33 homers, it's 78 runs batted in, and it's a 1-run game.
No, that's not a big distance to straightaway right field, but you have to be thoroughly impressed with Chris Carter and the way he's getting the barrel of the bat on the ball and taking advantage of this short porch in right field. That is just so impressive.
That's his 12th home run in the month of August. He leads the majors, and his 29th run batted in. He also leads the majors in that department. Fowler with strike 1 on a foul ball. 2 for 4 tonight. What an amazing month for Chris Carter.
That possibility of winning the home run crown for Carter is becoming more and more real. And then you've got Altuve with some crowns he could win this year. Could be some impressive stuff for the club.
Fowler looks at it. That's called a strike, and he's down in the count 0-2. Fowler lines one. That's caught by the shortstop Perino to end this ball game. Oakland rescues it with a 3-run 9th inning. First major league save for O'Flaherty comes with some excitement, and Fowler makes a bid to keep this game going, but the liner is caught by Perino for the final out. Oakland taking 2 of 3 in this series. Final score tonight, Oakland 5, Houston 4.